Chapter 4703. Hearing Qin Shu's words, Huamin was indeed a little hungry. His stomach rumbled. Huamin followed Qin Shu into the simple wooden house. As expected, there were already two dishes on the square wooden table. One was a big bowl of fish, and the other was stir-fried wild vegetables. Then, Annie Wong brought in two bowls of fragrant rice. President Qin, the fish just came out of the pot. It's very hot. You and your friend should be careful. Okay. Qin Shu nodded and sat across from Huamin. This fish can only be eaten here. It's Annie Wong's specialty, Qin Shu said as he picked up a big piece of white fish and placed it in Huamin's bowl. Hearing Qin Shu's praise, Annie Wong smiled innocently. My ancestor was a chef who cooked for a high-ranking official in the Qing dynasty. That official liked to eat fish, so my ancestor changed his cooking method. Just for fish alone, our Wong family knows 107 recipes. 107, Huamian was a bit surprised, finding it shocking. Maybe it was because he hadn't eaten anything good before. Usually, he only ate steamed, boiled, braised, boiled, spicy stewed, and sweet and sour. Among the 100 or so recipes, this is the best. It's a secret recipe of our Wong family. Young lady, try it. Hearing her words, Huamin was also very interested. He picked up the fish, put it in his mouth, and tasted it. Sure enough, the fish was smooth and tender. Not only was it fragrant, but after swallowing, there was a slightly spicy taste in his mouth. It was different from all the fish he had eaten before. It was mainly fresh. Is it good? Qin Shu asked her. Yeah, it's super good. Huamin smiled. Qin Shu didn't say anything. He lowered his head and scooped a bowl of fish soup for Huamin. It's a little spicy. Drink it slowly. Okay, I won't stand on ceremony. I'll definitely eat more. You don't have to be so busy. Eat your own food. After Huamin finished speaking, he picked up the bowl of rice and really didn't hold back. After all, since they were already here, they had to eat their fill. Huamin didn't have the bashfulness that girls usually had. In her eyes, eating and sleeping well was the way to go. This bowl of piping hot fresh fish, paired with the specialty wild vegetables, made Huamian feel a sense of happiness that she hadn't felt in a long time. In fact, she ate well at home, and her mother never mistreated her in Jixin. His mother's culinary skills were excellent, especially when it came to handmade dumplings. However, the fish still aroused Huamin's appetite. Soon, the small bowl of rice was emptied. Annie Wong, I want another bowl. Let me help you. No need, I'll go by myself. Huamin stood up with a smile, not treating himself as an outsider. It's in the pot in the kitchen. Annie Wong saw that the little girl was quite generous and smiled. Huamin walked to the kitchen door with the bowl of rice in her hand. Suddenly, she remembered something. She turned around and asked Qin Shu, Do you want some? I'll bring you some. Qin Shu didn't seem to understand what Huamin meant and didn't know how to answer for a moment. Seeing that he didn't say anything, Huamin turned around and went in. She filled her bowl to the brim. Then she filled half of the rice and put on top of the bowl as if it would fall off at any moment. She carefully returned to the table. Before Qin Shu could say anything, she used her chopsticks and scooped the extra rice into Qin Shu's bowl. This action instantly froze Qin Shu. This was because he had never eaten like this in the past 10 years or so. The Qin family was very disciplined when it came to eating. Everyone ate their own food. Qin Shu's father had always been thrifty, so no one left any food behind. However, this was the first time that he had scooped food from someone else's bowl into his own bowl. He was a clean freak, but he didn't stop Huamin in time. Chapter 4704. He looked at Qin Shu staring at his rice in a daze. Huamin didn't understand the situation and thought that Qin Shu was touched. She even added happily, You're welcome. Qin Shu, they had a good meal. Huamin hadn't eaten so much in a long time. He was stuffed to death. After dinner, the sky was already dark. Huamin looked down at the time on his phone. It was 7:40 p.m. The car is here. Let's go. Qin Shu knew that she was afraid of going home too late. After all, she couldn't stay out all the time and make her mother worry. You haven't paid the bill yet. Seeing that Qin Shu was about to leave, Huamin kindly reminded him. Chin Chu pursed his lips and smiled. Aren't you the one treating me? When did I say that I was treating you? Shouldn't you? I've helped you so many times. Huamin, thinking that this meal must have cost a lot, Huamin wasn't sure. He felt in his pocket and found less than 100 yuan in change. He turned to look at Auntie Wang guiltily. Auntie Wang, how much is it? Let's go. President Qin is just teasing you. It's free. How can it be free? You cooked such delicious food for us. I have to give you something. Huamin felt that it wasn't good to eat for free. He reached for the change in his pocket. At this moment, Auntie Wang smiled. This is President Qin's place. Everything belongs to his family. The house is his, the fish pond is his, even my salary is from the Qin family. Why would I want money? This is your house. Huamin was caught off guard. It's not my family. To be exact, it's mine. 3 years ago, my dad and I came here to look at the land. I liked this place at first sight, so my dad bought it. Usually, Auntie Wang and Uncle Wang help us take care of the fish pond and some of the free-range poultry here. My mom likes to eat green vegetables and meat, so our family sometimes comes here to get ingredients. All right, as expected of the rich. Huamin blushed with shame. Seeing that this place belonged to Qin Chu's family, there was no need to pay. Otherwise, if he really paid for it, he was afraid that he wouldn't have enough pocket money for next week. When they walked out, the Audi that had escorted them was already parked at the entrance. Qin Chu opened the car door and let Huamin get in first. Then he sat in the car. Along the way, the two of them didn't talk much. Perhaps they were afraid that the driver would hear them, and it would be awkward. When he got home, it was almost 9 o'clock. It wasn't too late. The timing was just right, and Huamin was very satisfied with the food. Why are you back so late, Mian? Her mother asked when she saw Huamin come back. I went out with a few classmates. Where did you go? To a fishing pond in the suburbs. I went fishing. You girl, you're so naughty. I won't have to worry about you in the future. Why are you fishing in the middle of the night? It's so dark, it's so dangerous. Got it, Mom. I'm going to take a shower. Afraid that her mother would keep nagging her, Huamin found an excuse and quickly ran away. Jixin added, Mom, my sister must have gone out with a boy. Look at how guilty she looks. Shut up and do your homework. Mom, you're so biased. Why do you scold me every time I play basketball until 7 o'clock? My sister comes back at 9 o'clock, and she's fine. Jixin expressed his strong dissatisfaction. At this moment, Yang Meirong said something that hurt Jixin's heart. If you could be like your sister and get first place every time and get a scholarship, you can play all night and not come back. Jixin, Mom, you're my biological mother. Jixin wanted to cry, but had no tears. After Huamin finished showering and crawled into bed in satisfaction, she received a text message on her phone. She thought it was Qin Chu and quickly opened it. Chapter 4705. Are you asleep? You are? Huamin didn't recognize the number and thought that someone had sent it to the wrong person. Haha, you don't even remember my number. Then how did you know to ask me for help at the billiard hall? At the mention of the billiard hall, Huamin knew that this person was Hua Xiqian. At this time, she wasn't familiar with Hua Xiqian. That day, she contacted Hua Xiqian through Brother Jun and the others at the billiard hall. She didn't save his number, but she saw that his number was 6 and 8. With such a good connection, it must be Hua Xiqian himself. It was his style of being high profile. What is it? Huamin's tone was extremely unpleasant. The truth was, she didn't like Hua Xiqian because he was a member of the Hua family. In Huamin's eyes, no one in the Hua family was good, especially Hua Zhenghai, Shun Jiani, and her son and daughter. She had interacted with them a few times since she was young, and they always mocked and ridiculed her. Fortunately, in the past few years, Huamin didn't let her mother look for him or ask Hua Zhenghai for money. It could be said that she had cut off some ties with the Hua family. She really didn't know why this Hua Xiqian was looking for her at this time. Hearing how heartless Huamin was, Hua Xiqian decided to call her. Huamin hesitated for a moment before answering the call. She covered her head with a blanket, crawled under the covers, and lowered her voice. After all, she didn't want her mother to know that she had any contact with the other members of the Hua family. Hua Xiqian, what do you want? Huamin tried her best to suppress her voice. I'm not doing anything. I just want to ask little sister Mian, you're such a loyal person. Why would you kick me to the curb after I outlive my usefulness? Huasiqian said this with a smile. However, Huamin could still hear the sarcasm in his voice. Huasiqian had indeed helped her in Lingling that day. After that, she left in a hurry without saying a word. So, was this guy here to ask for a favor? Huamin thought for a moment and replied calmly, You helped me that day. I'm very grateful. Just a little gratitude, and that's it. What do you want? As long as I have it, I can give it to you. I have less than 100 yuan on me. If you want, I can give it to you. Huamin thought that there was nothing he could do to repay Huasiqian, apart from the 80 yuan of change he had on him. After hearing Huamin's words, Huasiqian burst out laughing. 100 yuan? Do you think I'm a beggar? It's not even enough for me to eat a bowl of Haagen-Dazs. How can poor people like us compare to rich people like you? Huamin's face turned cold. He didn't give Huasiqian any face on the phone. You're not poor. You're Dad's daughter. As long as you're willing to come back. Shut up. I won't go back. It wasn't that Hua Zhenghai didn't recognize Huamin, but he had said that he wanted Huamin to go back. However, Yang Meirong couldn't go back, and Shun Jiani couldn't tolerate Yang Meirong's existence. Therefore, Hua Zhenghai wanted Huamin to go back to the Hua family and be raised by Jiang Hong. Jiang Hong was the Hua family's wife and Huasiqian's adoptive mother. However, this suggestion was rejected by Hua Min's mother. No matter how poor she was, she wouldn't send her daughter back. What kind of place was the Hua family? With that vixen Shinjiani around, how could Huamin survive if he went back? He would still be bullied to death by her mother and daughter. Seeing how excited Huamin was, Huasiqian smiled again. I'm just teasing you. Don't be so nervous. Little sister Mian, I actually like you a lot. Do you believe me? Chapter 4706. Huamin, Huasiqian, stop talking nonsense. Huasiqian, ha ha ha, Sister Mian, are you angry? Huamin remained silent. Okay, I won't tease you anymore. Rest early. We'll see each other soon. Before Huamin could reject him, Huasiqian hung up the phone. Huamin suddenly regretted asking Huasiqian for help that day. She should have asked Qin Shu for help. With Qin Shu's family's power, it would have been easy for her. Now it seemed like he owed Huasiqian a big favor. Would Huasiqian haunt him from now on? A long time later, Huamin thought that it was because she asked him for help that they met. That was why Huasiqian was so obsessed with her. He loved her so much that he was obsessed with her. However, what she didn't know was that even if she didn't ask for help this time, Huasiqian would still come to Huamin. Her feelings for Hua Mian were planted the moment she returned to the Hua family for the first time. Huasiqian's world was extremely dark. No one knew what kind of pain he had suffered since he was young. They only knew about the halo around him. That's right, he was the bright and beautiful young master of the Hua family. Although he wasn't their biological son, he was raised by the legal wife, so his status was quite high. He was also quick-witted and was highly regarded by Hua Zhenghai. When he was in university, he already helped the Hua family with some business deals. He had a private mansion, several sports cars, and money that he could spend like water. However, he wasn't happy later. He realized that Huamin could bring him unprecedented happiness. In other words, every time he saw Huamin, his heart would be extremely calm. This was an indescribable magic. After hanging up the phone, Huasiqian lit a cigarette and held in his mouth. A young woman walked out of the bathroom. Her figure and face were both stunning. Huashao, I'm done, it's your turn. The girl smiled shyly. Huasiqian pulled off the only towel on the girl's body. Just then, the door opened. A middle-aged woman in a dark purple cheongsam stood at the door with an ashen face. The naked girl jumped into Huasiqian's arms in fright. You could say that she was acting coquettishly, or that she was like a little bird that needed someone's help. Huashao, don't be afraid. Come, baby, let me introduce you. This is my mother. Huasiqian smiled faintly as he pointed at the lady at the door. Shinjiani is scheming against us, and you're still in the mood to flirt? Jiang Hong's livid face swept across Huasiqian's dissolute face. 3 idiots, it's not surprising. Mom, don't be too nervous. Shut up. Jiang Hong seemed to be very angry. She ordered the people behind her, "Kick this bitch out." "Yes, madam." Two maids came up and dragged the naked girl out of the bed. "Huishao," the girl cried. She thought that Hui Qian would beg for mercy, but to her surprise, Hui Qian didn't care at all. After all, this wasn't the first time something like this had happened. After the girl was dragged away, the room fell silent. Jiang Hong looked at Hui Qian. He was only wearing a white bathrobe, and the bag was still loose, as if it would suddenly fall down at any moment. "Qian, how could you not listen to Mom?" Jiang Hong walked over slowly and touched Hui Qian's face with her hands. She looked at him with a complicated expression. Chapter 4707. "Mom, it's late. You should go home." Note that Hui Qian didn't use the word "you" when he spoke to his adoptive mother. It was obvious how close they were. "What? Have you grown up and grown up? Do you think you can survive in the Hua Corporation unscathed?" Hui Qian lowered his head and didn't say anything. He was exceptionally quiet. Jiang Hong suddenly grabbed his hair tightly and pulled it up. It was as if she was going to pull his scalp off. A huge pain came. However, he still didn't fight back or resist. He just quietly let this woman go crazy. "Little bastard. Don't forget, if it weren't for me, you wouldn't have come to the Hua family. You might be worse than a beggar. You should thank me." "Mom, I've always thanked you. I've said thank you for many years." "That's not enough. Then what do you want?" Hui Qian looked up with a trace of despair in his eyes. "Do you know what I want? You're crazy. You're my mother." Hui Qian pushed her away in disgust. "Haha, what are you afraid of? You're not my son." As Jiang Hong spoke, she reached out and placed her hand under Hui Qian's bathrobe, caressing him wantonly. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened, so he didn't find it strange. However, after talking to Hua Min on the phone tonight, he felt like a normal person again. Therefore, he hated this woman in front of him. In the next moment, he pushed her away and pushed her to the ground. Jiang Hong was a little surprised and looked at him. "How dare you reject me? What? You fell in love with that woman just now. Do you believe that I can make her mysteriously disappear from this world tomorrow?" She thought that Hui Qian had fallen in love with that girl just now. That was why she threatened him. "Whatever, but before that, you better leave this place quickly. I have a lot of gossip, and there are a lot of paparazzi lurking at the door. If they take any exciting pictures, I don't care, but believe it or not, old man Ho will skin you alive. And you won't be able to continue being a rich madam. You can't let everyone know that you're a slut, right?" Hui Qian's words were evil. However, Jiang Hong wasn't angry. She stood up gracefully. She stood up elegantly and patted the dust off her body. "Little bastard, you've really grown up." "Very well, I like it. Just wait and see." After Jiang Hong left, Hui Qian sighed as he lay on the big, soft bed. He hated himself for being so useless. Why was Hua family so? Why was crazy? Why was so? Why did they sell their own children? He would rather live in an ordinary family and live an ordinary life, just like Hua Mian. Late night, Hui Qian slowly fell asleep with the last glimmer of hope in his mind. "Mian, you're so good. You're so pure and real. You let me see my last glimmer of hope. If I still believe that there's something good in this world, it must be about you. So, in order for me to have happiness in the future, I have to have you first. Living with you is my true happiness, my true salvation." This was Hui Qian's inner monologue. Actually, at this moment, he wasn't evil. It could only be said that he wanted to redeem himself. The next day, after lunch break, Gao Ran and Qin Shu went to the basketball court. "Hey, I heard you're first in your grade this time?" "Yes. I heard that you reported Hua Min's paper and made her second place?" Gao Ran smiled. "Yes." Qin Shu lowered his head and bounced the basketball. He was practicing his hands and answered casually. "Ha ha, you're awesome, bro." Gao Ran burst into laughter. Chapter 4708. What the fuck are you laughing at? Qin Shu rarely cursed, but Gao Ran's smile was too wretched. Therefore, he couldn't help but complain. It would have been better if he didn't say anything. Once he did, Qin Shu laughed even louder. "Oh my god, are you an idiot? You like her, but you didn't pursue her. You even deliberately reported her and beat her. Oh my God. Qin Shu, are you trying to go to heaven? No wonder Zhu Lingling stared at me when she saw me today. So you did such a bad thing. I only got first place based on my own ability. Qin Shu didn't think much of it. He didn't waste any more time talking to Gao Ran and went straight to the court to play. There were always some girls on a basketball court who came to see handsome guys. In the past, most of them liked the captain, but now most of them liked Qin Shu. Although he was like a 1,000-year-old ice cube, he still couldn't stop the girls from falling in love with him. There were always girls who came to give him water, but Qin Shu didn't drink a single sip. Most of them were taken advantage of by Gao Ran. After the game, Qin Shu and Gao Ran sat down to rest. Captain is a little absent-minded today. What's going on? Did you break up? Gao Ran asked nosily. When they were playing, he noticed that Xing Yin was a little out of it. After a game, everyone was resting. He put on his jacket and went out. What does it have to do with me? Qin Shu was really not interested in anything other than himself and Huamin. After lunch, Huamin was sleepy. Zhu Lingling was bored, so she went downstairs alone. She found a corner to daydream and get some fresh air. She didn't expect to meet Xing Yin here. Zhu Lingling, he said. Zhu Lingling turned her head to look at him, but there was no reaction in her eyes. She didn't really like him. She was just acting out of spite. What's the matter? Zhu Lingling's attitude was cold. Zhu Lingling's indifference startled Xing Yin slightly, as if he wasn't used to it. After all, he was a boy who had a large number of fans wherever he went. Why haven't you been watching basketball recently? I don't like basketball anyway. Zhu Lingling answered naturally. Then in the past, I used to feel bored and wanted to join in the fun. Now that I feel bored, I won't go. Zhu Lingling's answer was unintentionally hurtful. She was wearing a blue and white school uniform, and her long hair fluttered in the wind. Standing in the crowd, he was still outstanding. Zhu Lingling. To me, Xing Yin was a little unwilling to give up. He wanted to ask more questions, but when the words reached his mouth, he realized that he couldn't say it. Or rather, he was too embarrassed to say it. What do you think? Zhu Lingling's attitude wasn't good either. She was a little aggressive. If I break up with Jiang Xiaoying, will you date me? After holding it in for a long time, this kid finally bravely asked this question. He thought that Zhu Lingling would be shocked, but to his surprise, her face was still as calm as water. It was as if she had already predicted what Xing Yin was going to say. Huh? Zhu Lingling chuckled softly. What are you laughing at? Xing Yin seemed to be very unhappy with Zhu Lingling's laughter. Zhu Lingling walked towards him step by step. The two of them were very close to each other. Zhu Lingling stared at this tall and handsome boy and smiled. Let me ask you, do you like me? What did you mean by that? Xing Yin replied in a low voice. Then let me ask you again. If you like me, that day outside the basketball court, when Jiang Xiaoying and her people surrounded me and my friends, where the hell were you at that time? Why did Gao Ran and Qin Shu come out to save us? Chapter 4709. Zhu Lingling's question stumped the boy. He didn't go out to save her because he felt embarrassed. After all, it was a matter between women. Plus, Jiang Xiaoying's family had always been connected to the underworld, so he had some concerns. Now that Jiang Xiaoying was very close to a man in the underworld, their relationship was on the verge of collapse. Although they hadn't broken up yet, they weren't far from it. Xing Yin wasn't an idiot, so he wanted to take the opportunity to play the good guy to Zhu Lingling. He wanted her to think that he broke up with Jiang Xiaoying because of her. However, although Zhu Lingling was a straightforward person, she wasn't stupid. Naturally, she wouldn't let him get what he wanted so easily. I'm sorry about that day. As a boy, I really can't get involved in a fight between girls. That's why you're not suitable to be my boyfriend. If I'm in danger in the future and get ganged up on by girls, you'll still not stand up for me, right? That's enough. There's nothing between us anyway. We won't be in a hurry in the future. Zhu Lingling didn't want to waste time talking to this guy anymore. She turned around and went upstairs. As Gao Ran and Qin Chu walked back, they heard rumors in the hallway. Hey, did you guys hear? The basketball captain confessed to the prettiest girl in the first class. Prettiest girl in the first class? Who's that? Zhu Lingling? Yeah, it's her. They really are a good match. But did the basketball captain break up with the cheerleader? Upon hearing this, Gao Ran froze. Zhu Lingling is with Xing Yan? He asked Qin Chu. How would I know? Mr. Qin looked innocent. Fuck, is Zhu Lingling blind? Xing Yan looks tall and strong, but he's actually a softie. Why would she like a man like that? It's Zhu Lingling's business. Why are you so excited? Qin Chu looked at him. I was just fighting for the girls in your class. Gao Ran tried to twist his words. Really? I think you're just unwilling to accept it. Are you kidding me? I don't like that girl in your class either. She's so ugly. What's the point of being pretty? I don't think Zhu Lingling is as good as Huamin. She's always flirting with other guys. She's so worrisome. Whoever marries her will be cuckolded for years. As soon as Gao Ran finished speaking, he was kicked from behind. The strength of his kick was so great that he almost fell to the ground. Fuck! Who is it? Gao Ran turned around and raised his fist. Then, when he saw Zhu Lingling's face, he was instantly terrified. What a coincidence! Gao Ran said guiltily. Zhu Lingling crossed her arms and said, You're a big guy, but you're talking bad about a girl behind her back. Do you want to be a bitch? If she didn't go to the washroom before class, she wouldn't have heard this guy talking bad about her behind her back. Huamin stood beside Zhu Lingling and only smiled. Qin Chu looked at Huamin with a gentle gaze. Ahem. It's a misunderstanding my ass. Gao Ran, I think your mouth is too small. Do you want me to make it bigger? Zhu Lingling's aura was famous throughout the entire grade. Gao Ran didn't want to confront her directly, so he quickly apologized. Beauty, I was just being rude. Please don't hold it against me, huh? Gao Ran bowed and apologized. Gao Ran, are you fucking in love with me? Otherwise, why are you always butting in on my business? Zhu Lingling yelled without a care in the world. The surrounding students immediately looked at them strangely. Gao Ran's face immediately turned red. Chapter 4710. What Gao Ran didn't expect was that Zhu Lingling would be so daring to make a fuss. She made him lose face, but more than that, he felt awkward and shy. Ahem, Lingling, let's go back first. Huamin grabbed Zhu Lingling's hand and was about to leave. Fortunately, Zhu Lingling still listened to Huamin. Gao Ran, just you wait. Before she left, she didn't forget to threaten Gao Ran. Gao Ran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Looking at the backs of the two girls leaving, Gao Ran didn't forget to gossip. Hey Chu, do you think Zhu Lingling and Xing Yan are together? Haven't you been kicked enough? Your butt doesn't hurt, right? Gao Ran was speechless when they returned to class. Zhu Lingling was still angry. She scolded Gao Ran for being a busybody and gossipy all the way back. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. Lingling, you shouldn't be scolding Gao Ran. Shouldn't you be scolding the captain of the basketball team? What did he say to you today? Don't talk about it. That idiot is so low. Why did I flirt with him? I'm so unlucky. Then what are you? Huamin still didn't know what was going on between Zhu Lingling and the basketball captain. Anyway, the entire first grade was saying that Zhu Lingling had already accepted Xing Yan's pursuit. After all, so many people saw the two of them talking alone in the corridor, so the rumors spread even more. At that time, the school was like this. Everyone was studying in isolation, and it was very boring and stressful. So the gossip between male and female students became the only fun. Damn, I'm accusing you. And you don't believe me? Zhu Lingling glared at Huamin. Ha, how would I know if you won't go crazy again and accept him? Don't worry, I won't go crazy again. That guy's a coward. Last time we were surrounded outside the basketball court. Where the hell did he go? In the end, Qin Chu and Gao Ran came to help. So, Gao Ran is our savior. You just scolded him like that. Huamin continued to laugh. Wasn't he too gossipy? Zhu Lingling felt a little guilty. But you hit him. No, you kicked him too hard. Are you sure Gao Ran will hold a grudge against you? But she was a test. No, as they fights, as they stay. But beating was a sign of affection, and scolding was a sign of love. At that time, love was so pure. A lot of it was love born from when you bullied me and I bullied you. Many boys didn't know how to chase girls. Back then, there were no such tricks, so when you liked someone, you had to bully her, tease her, and make her angry. In the end, you succeeded in getting her attention. This could be compared to the male and female leads in a gay idol drama, Meteor Garden. Zhu Lingling wasn't in a good mood because everyone knew about it. After school, she didn't ask Huamin out. She took the bus home alone. Huamin, on the other hand, saw a familiar face when he got on the bus with his back to the study. Yes, she didn't expect to see him here. Hua Xiqian wasn't wearing colorful clothes, which was rare. It was just a simple coffee-colored short-sleeve shirt with a print from a famous brand. Then he sat at the back of the bus. Chapter 47:11. There was only one empty seat next to him, and it was obvious that no one else dared to take it. Huamin glanced at the empty seat, but didn't sit down. She stood in front of the iron railing as if she didn't see him. "Mian, I saved a seat for you. Come sit down," Hua Xiqian said loudly and patted the empty seat next to him. Huamin's face was cold. "No need. If you don't sit, then I won't sit either." With that, Hua Xiqian stood up and walked to Huamin's side. Huamin suddenly wanted to turn around and get out of the car, but the car had already driven away. "Why are you here?" Huamin deliberately lowered his voice so that the person next to him wouldn't hear. Hua Xiqian smiled. "I was waiting for you." Huamin was speechless. This was the first time this young master didn't drive a sports car and took a bus, right? Only he would do things so unconventionally and give people headaches. "Why were you waiting for me?" "For you to thank me." Huamian didn't know what to say. At this moment, she really regretted asking Hua Xiqian for help. She didn't know that she would get into so much trouble. "Tell me, how do you want me to thank you? Treat me to something to eat." "I haven't eaten yet," Hua Xiqian said shamelessly. "Okay, what do you want to eat?" Huamin touched the 60 yuan in his pocket and gritted his teeth. "I heard potato noodles are delicious." After Hua Xiqian said this, Huamin wondered if he had heard wrong. "What? Potato noodles? A big bowl of potato noodles that cost 5 yuan? Are you sure?" Huamin asked again. "I haven't tried it yet, but my friend told me that it's delicious. Do you know where I can get authentic?" Hua Xiqian turned around and looked at Huamin innocently. "All right, come with me then." After 3 stops, Huamin got off the bus with Hua Xiqian. The two of them arrived at the food street, where there was a small potato noodle shop. The name of the shop was also very funny. Two Good Brothers. 2 thick and strong middle-aged men were enthusiastically selling freshly cooked potato flour. There was a sea of people inside, and there was no more space. Huamin glanced at Hua Xiqian. "Wait for me here. I'll go line up." "All right." He smiled warmly. Huamin waited in line for 15 minutes before he managed to buy 2 bowls of potato noodles. Because there were no more seats inside, they had to pack it up. "Here you go. Eat here." Hua Xiqian was surprised. "How about we eat in KFC?" Huamin suggested. After all, KFC had a lot of seats and air conditioning. "I don't think that's a good idea. How about we eat in the park?" Hua Xiqian was very familiar with this place and often drove by. He saw the west entrance of Baiyuan Garden nearby. "Sure." Huamin nodded. The two of them carried their respective bowls of potato noodles and arrived at Baiyuan Garden. Baiyuan Garden wasn't big, but the greenery inside was very good. When the two of them came in, the seats were also overcrowded with people. They were all occupied by people. Huamin was just about to say, "Why don't we go back to KFC?" Hua Xiqian walked toward the seat under a big willow tree. There sat a couple who were kissing each other. "Excuse me, can you give us your seat?" Hua Xiqian asked with a smile. "Why?" The young man was just about to say why. Hua Xiqian took out a $100 bill from his pocket and handed it over. "Damn, what are you doing? 2 bowls of potato noodles aren't even $100. Hua Xiqian, you're crazy," Huamin scolded in a low voice. Chapter 47:12. At that time, RMB was still very valuable, and 100 yuan was really a lot. Therefore, Hua Xiqian successfully bought a seat with 100 yuan. Then he smiled at Huamin. Come and sit here. Huamin walked over in an explosive mood and muttered, If you have 100 yuan, why did you come to the park to buy a public seat? We could have found a restaurant with a good environment to eat. But I just want to eat potato noodles. Hua Xiqian still looked innocent. Okay, you win. Huamin didn't say anything and sat down beside Hua Xiqian. The two of them began to eat the piping hot potato noodles. Huamin liked spicy food, perhaps because it was too cold in the north. Most people here like spicy food, such as spicy hot pot, spicy fragrant pot, spicy grilled fish, and so on. Therefore, just as they went to buy potato noodles, Huamin bought Hua Xiqian the same as his. It was spicy, and the potato noodles had red oil in them. It was a shocking sight, but it was good news for spicy people. Potato noodles were one of Hua Min's favorite snacks. He would miss it if he didn't eat it for a long time. Firstly, it was really delicious, and secondly, it was really cheap. Hua Xiqian saw Hua Min eating with relish, so he lowered his head and started eating as well. Hua Min probably never thought that one day he would be with someone like Hua Xiqian. The two of them sat in the park and ate potato noodles. What a strange scene this is, but it had happened. After quietly eating the potato noodles, Hua Min asked him, Can I go now? But I still want to eat another bowl. What should I do? Hua Xiqian still looked innocent. Fuck. Of course, that was what Hua Mian was thinking. Little sister Mian, can you please buy me another bowl? All right. Hua Min gritted his teeth. I also want a bottle of soda. Thank you. I want it cold. All right. Hua Min really wanted to scold him. Hua Xiqian, why are you so nosy? However, he held himself back. After all, he had to repay the favor. After this incident, she really didn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. Hua Xiqian sat in the park while Hua Min turned around and jogged back to the queue to buy potato powder. As soon as Hua Min left, Hua Xiqian opened his Louis Vuitton men's shoulder bag. He calmly took out the stomach medicine and swallowed it directly. Yes, he couldn't eat spicy food, but she didn't know. He had checked all of her preferences and knew that she liked to eat spicy soup, sour and spicy noodles, potato noodles, and other snacks. So he decided to eat with her. Even if his stomach was burning with pain, he didn't care. Not everyone's love could be shown. For some people, you seem to think that they like you a little, but in reality, they might have given up a lot. Hua Xiqian was a flamboyant person on the outside, but on the inside, he was a very tolerant person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have survived and reached the top in the Hua family's atmosphere. Hua Min jogged back again with potato powder and a bottle of cold soda in his hand. She didn't really want to buy it from him. After all, a bottle of soda cost 2 yuan. This was pocket money her mother gave her, not money for her to eat and drink. Seeing Hua Min come back sweating, Hua Xiqian couldn't bear it. I don't want to drink soda anymore. You can have it. Fuck. This time, he really said it out loud. Hua Min thought to himself, Are you torturing me on purpose? What about the potato powder? I'll eat this. Hua Xiqian slowly took the second bowl of potato powder from Hua Min's hand. This bowl obviously had more chili oil added. It was even redder than the previous bowl. Hua Min did it on purpose, and he knew it. Hua Xiqian smiled, lowered his head, and took a bite. Is it good? Hua Min asked him a little mischievously. Chapter 47:13. Emichim, it's delicious, he answered calmly. Then eat more. Finish it all. Hua Min smirked. Okay. He nodded as usual and simply said, Okay. Soda. Are you sure you don't want to drink it? No. Then I'll drink it. Hua Min twisted open the cap. Okay. After receiving his confirmation, Hua Min quickly took a big gulp. After eating spicy food, drinking a cold soda was a great pleasure. Everyone said that eating this combination would cause diarrhea, but Hua Min's stomach was probably not that bad. He didn't feel any discomfort at all. After drinking a few sips of the soda, she looked at the lake in the park with satisfaction. Her mood suddenly calmed down. Then, she looked at Hua Xiqian beside her. He lowered his head and continued to eat the super spicy potato noodles. He didn't have any reaction. Hua Min originally expected him to take a bite and choke on the spicy food. His expression would be worse than death. However, she waited for a long time. Even after Hua Xiqian finished the second bowl of potato noodles, she still didn't see the expression she was looking for. This guy can eat spicy food this well? Huamin thought to herself, but didn't say anything. Finally, after he finished the second bowl, Xiqian elegantly took out a tissue and wiped his mouth. I'm full. Thank you for dinner, Mian. It's okay, but this time I thank you. In the future, you can't cause trouble for me. Huamin really didn't want to have anything to do with anyone in the Hua family. Even if Hua Xiqian wasn't as annoying as Hua Yinyin and Hua Si, he was still a member of the Hua family. How can I do that? Mian, you worked so hard today. You treated me to good food and ran twice. You're so tired. I can't bear to do that. Next time, I'll treat you to something better. It's okay. Just don't appear in front of me. Huamin lowered his head and swirled the soda in his hand. Do you hate the Hua family? What do you think? Huamin did not raise his head. But I'm not from the Hua family. I'm just an adopted son. My surname isn't Hua, so you don't have to be wary of me. Forget it. The fact that you were able to grow up safely in the Hua family and manage the company shows that you're not a simple person. Stop pretending to be weak. After hearing Huamin's words, Hua Xiqian laughed heartily. My little sister Mian's IQ is indeed not to be trifled with. I'm impressed. All right, I don't have time to chat with you. I still have to go home. There won't be any cars later. I'll drive you. No need. It's okay. I need some time to digest after eating. Let's go. I'll take the bus with you. Huamin thought that Hua Xiqian was going to take a taxi or send a car over. To her surprise, he still wanted to take the bus. She was speechless. It was indeed getting late. Huamin still had a few minutes to walk home. Hua Xiqian was still worried. Just like that, under Huamin's extremely unwilling circumstances, Hua Xiqian still sent her home. On the way, the two did not speak much. Huamin carried her backpack and looked down at the scenery outside the car. Hua Xiqian was not relieved until Huamin got out of the car. I'm not getting off. I'm going back. Be careful. See you never. With these words, Huamian quickly jumped out of the car. She was truly relieved of her burden. Hua Xiqian looked at the girl's thoughts and smiled gently. Then, he only sat for one stop and immediately got out of the car. He took out his phone and called the driver. I'm in the eastern suburbs. Come and pick me up. Take me to the hospital. At this moment, his stomach was churning. He wanted to burn up in the next moment. However, in the car just now, in front of Huamin, he was as calm as water. Chapter 47:14. After treating Hua Xiqian to dinner, Huamin felt a lot more relaxed. After all, he had repaid the favor, so there wouldn't be any trouble in the future, right? It was still early when she got home. She cleaned the room with her mother and then watched the 8:00 drama together. Jixin was doing his homework on the side. When he encountered something he didn't know, he didn't dare to ask his sister. After all, he was afraid that his sister would call him a pig. At 9:30 p.m., Huamin was a little sleepy, so he washed up and went to bed. Qin Shu sent him a message. Qin Shu, what are you doing? Huamin, I just lay down. Qin Shu, so, you're under the covers? Huamin froze. Although Qin Shu's question wasn't wrong, why did it feel like something was wrong? Huamin, oh, what's up? Qin Shu, let's have lunch tomorrow. Huamin replied jokingly. Are you treating? Qin Shu, yeah. Qin Shu really didn't like to joke, so whenever Huamin joked, he would answer seriously. It was so awkward that Huamin didn't reply. Unexpectedly, a minute later, Qin Shu added, bring Zhu Lingling. What? Are you interested in my Lingling? Huamin also smiled cheekily. Qin Shu didn't reply at all. After all, he didn't want to answer such a stupid question. After putting down his phone, Qin Shu lay on the bed and couldn't help but laugh. Who said that Huamin was a genius? He was obviously a retard. Otherwise, why would everyone know that he liked her? She even asked if he was interested in Zhu Lingling. The next day, the two didn't talk much in the morning. Huamin was still sleeping in the last row. He was reading romance novels and reading unofficial history books. Qin Shu, on the other hand, had been playing with his phone in his seat. It was as if the two of them had nothing to do with each other. Time for lunch break. As soon as the bell rang, Lu Xiying rushed over. She still ignored the gazes of the other students and looked at Qin Chu ingratiatingly. There's a new Sichuan restaurant nearby. The fish with pickled cabbage and pickled vegetables is delicious. My dad got me a gold card with 10,000 yuan in it. I want to take you there to try it. Lu Xing indeed came from a well-off family. She was the only daughter in her family, so she was a little overbearing and liked to be aggressive. She also liked to mock and ridicule others and had a princess syndrome. Other than her classmate, an honest girl from the countryside, almost no other women liked her. However, she didn't care about these things. After all, she had come a second high in Class 1 for Qin Chu. She and Qin Chu were classmates in junior high school. During those 3 years, she secretly swore to herself. In the future, no matter what, she would pursue Qin Chu and marry him. It didn't matter if others said that she was shameless or that he was shameless. She didn't care. After all, happiness was between the two of them. Qin Chu didn't even look up. He lowered his head and continued to play his game. Then, he flatly rejected, "I don't like pickled cabbage and pickled vegetables." "Then what do you like to eat?" Lu Xing didn't seem to give up. Qin Chu ignored him. He stood up and looked at Huamin behind him. "Let's go to the cafeteria." Huamin was still a little embarrassed. After all, she didn't want to be the scapegoat. She saw Lu Xing's murderous gaze. However, in order not to be killed by that gaze, she silently followed Qin Chu to the cafeteria. On the way, she couldn't help but ask, "Hey, I say, are you trying to use me to get rid of Lu Xing?" Huamin suddenly felt unconvinced. She felt that this boy had ulterior motives towards her. Chapter 47:15. Qin Chu stopped in her tracks, turned around, and glanced at Huamin's face. "Do you think you're so handsome? That's why you dare to talk to me like this?" Huamin, think before you speak in the future. Huamin, damn, was she being humiliated? She wanted to argue, but they had already reached the entrance of the cafeteria. The cafeteria was always crowded, and there was a long line in the morning and evening. There would only be a few people when class was about to start. "What do you want to eat? Let's line up first." Huamin asked her. Qin Chu didn't say anything and went straight to the second floor of the cafeteria. The second floor of the cafeteria was a high-end cafeteria. Most of the people there were teachers, school leaders, or leaders who came for inspection. Although the food was delicious, it was also expensive. Ordinary students couldn't afford it. A meal would cost at least 1,000 to 2,000 yuan. This was already a sky-high price for a commoner like Huamin. Therefore, when Qin Chu went up to the second floor, Huamin hesitated. She didn't continue to follow him. "What are you waiting for? Come up." Qin Chu turned around and glanced at Huamin. You go up first. I'll wait for Lingling. She went to buy some water. She'll be right back." Huamin found an excuse. After all, she didn't want to make things awkward, because her classmates all knew about her family background. If she went up to the second floor, she would be laughed at, right? A poor girl pretending to be rich? Just as she was hesitating, Zhu Lingling came back. She put her arm around Huamin's shoulder. "Hey, what are you thinking about?" Huamin looked down at the 2 bottles of peach juice in Zhu Lingling's hands. This was the juice that both she and Lingling liked, but because it cost 3 yuan a bottle, she rarely drank it. Zhu Lingling often bought it for her. "I'm fine. Then let's go up. Didn't Qin Chu say that he would treat us to a good meal?" Zhu Lingling didn't feel guilty at all. Knowing that Qin Chu was a nouveau riche, eating a big meal was nothing to him. "How about I don't go? I'll eat downstairs." Huamin still felt that it was not a good idea to go up. At least, that place was not suitable for him. "You're a tiger. He's treating. What's there to be afraid of? It'll be a waste if we don't eat. Let's go." Zhu Lingling grabbed Huamin's hand and dragged him upstairs. Huamin did not dare to struggle, as he was afraid of attracting the attention of the surrounding students. But when she went upstairs and found Qin Chu, she realized that Gao Ran was also there. Zhu Lingling didn't seem surprised. Perhaps this was within her expectations. However, Huamin was a bit hesitant because she saw that Zhu Lingling only bought 3 bottles of drinks. She originally thought that it would be her, Qin Chu, and Lingling. Now that she bought 1 bottle less, how was she going to split it? Huomin's first reaction was to drink one bottle with Lingling. After all, they were best friends, so she would pour into a cup and share it. However, Zhu Lingling handed one bottle to Qin Shu and placed the other two in front of Huomin and herself. "Where's my drink?" Gao Ran looked and saw that the other three all had drinks, but he didn't. Zhu Lingling replied unhappily, "I didn't know you were coming, so I didn't prepare anything." "Fuck, you woman, you did it on purpose." Gao Ran knew that Zhu Lingling was definitely holding a grudge. Huomin also felt bad that Gao Ran didn't have any drinks, so he said, "Why don't you drink this one, and Lingling and I will drink one bottle." Okay, Huomin is the best." Gao Ran smiled cheekily as he went to take Huomin's drink, but Qin Chu slapped his hand away. "You drink mine." Qin Chu handed his to Gao Ran. "Fuck, you're so generous." "No way." Did the sun rise from the west? Gao Ran was ecstatic. Qin Chu ignored him and said to Huomin calmly, "Let's drink one bottle." Huomin froze. What was going on? Chapter 47:16. Before Huomin could say anything, Qin Chu's words left Huomin speechless. Zhu Lingling almost choked to death. Ahem. Are you two like this now? Are you going public? You're so arrogant, my classmate. Huomin blushed at Zhu Lingling's random question. However, he still denied it. "Don't overthink it. It's not like that." "It's like that," Qin Chu interrupted. "Qin Chu, are you trying to cause trouble?" Huomin stared at him with his round eyes. "Didn't I tell you when I got first place last time? From that day onwards, you're my girlfriend." Whoa. You two are together now." Gao Ran turned away from the peach juice with a sinister smile on his face. "Do you believe that I'll smash your mouth?" Qin Chu glanced at him faintly. "I'm joking. Ha, congratulations. I wish you two a long and happy marriage and a child soon." Gao Ran continued to watch the show. Zhu Lingling couldn't stop laughing. Yes, congratulations. You two straight A students together. What will your child be like in the future? Will you give birth to a super straight A student? You two are overthinking it. I'm only 15. Huomin was sweating profusely. Back then, love was still very simple, and there were almost no high school students who got pregnant early. Many boys and girls felt that holding hands might be a sign of being too open, not to mention the fact that they would roll around in bed. Therefore, when Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran said that they would have a child soon, Huomin was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. "That's enough. You two, say one more word and you'll have to pay the bill later." Qin Chu was still as calm as ever. No, Mr. Rich, we still want to ride your coattails." Gao Ran smiled cheekily. "You two are really a good match. For words, colluding together." Qin Chu looked at Gao Ran and then at Zhu Lingling. To his surprise, before Gao Ran could say anything, Zhu Lingling got angry first. "Qin Chu, you're the one who's enough. What's wrong with your eyes? How can you force me to be a couple with this pig? I'm so pretty, gentle, and cute. Why would I like a gossipy man? She's not bad looking, but do you have a gentle and pleasant person? Do you have any shame?" Zhu Lingling, I've never seen a girl as shameless as you. "Fuck, give me back my peach juice. Give me back my peach juice. Why should I give it to you?" Qin Chu gave me the drink. I gave it to Qin Chu. Zhu Lingling wouldn't let it go. "I don't care who gave it to Qin Chu. All I know is that Qin Chu gave it to me. Why should I give it to you?" Huomin was troubled by their bickering. "Big brother, big sister. Are you guys done? I'm so hungry, I want to eat. Let's order." Qin Chu pushed the menu in front of Huomin. Huomin silently picked up the menu and looked at the first page. He was so scared that he almost peed his pants. A serving of sweet and sour pork ribs cost 128 yuan. A serving of spiced beef cost 158 yuan, and a cup of plain milk tea cost 38 yuan. Even the most common bowl of plain noodles, which was actually just plain noodles, cost 48 yuan. Huomin felt that this place was too much of a scam. Students really couldn't afford it. However, it was only limited to commoners like her. Many of the rich second-generation children of the government officials could still afford it. "The food here is so expensive. Why don't we eat downstairs? The soft-fried pork fillet downstairs is so delicious, and it's only 18 yuan," Huamin suggested. No, isn't there a rich person treating us today? Let's eat. Let's find a feeling of eating rich. Then, Zhu Lingling snatched the menu and began to order crazily. Chapter 47:17. One Dompa pig knuckle, one steamed pork, one cola chicken wing, and one crispy fish. Damn, you don't even eat vegetables. All 4 dishes are meat, Gao Ran sighed. You're not the one paying. It's better for you to talk less, Zhu Lingling retorted. Gao Ran didn't know what to say. Qin Shu glanced at Huamin indifferently. Continue ordering. No, Lingling already ordered 4 dishes. They're already mine. You guys can order, but don't order too much. It'll be a waste if we can't finish it. Hurry up, don't waste time. 4 dishes per person, Qin Shu ordered. Hey, what's wrong with our rich guy today? It seems like he's super nice to his girlfriend. You're so generous. I've known you for 7 or 8 years, but I've never seen you so generous. At most, you'll treat me to a few pancakes. Gao Ran complained. If you say another word, you'll pay. Qin Shu was still calm. Gao Ran immediately shut up. Seeing that Qin Shu didn't seem to be joking, Huamin had no choice but to pick up the menu and look at it. Thinking that Lingling had ordered so much meat just now, he decided to order a vegetarian dish. Therefore, as he looked at the menu, he said celery shrimp, green pepper eggs, stir-fried mushrooms, and stir-fried string beans. Then, Gao Ran took the menu and muttered, fruitwood roast duck, steamed scallops with garlic and vermicelli, glutinous rice meatballs, and my favorite coleslaw pig ears. You're still shamelessly talking about me. You're not a vegetarian either. It's still 4 meat dishes. Shameless. Zhu Lingling seized the opportunity to mock him. I'm a man. I'm not afraid of being fat. You're a girl. Aren't you afraid of becoming a pig? If I become a pig, I'll marry you and give birth to a litter of pigs for you. You're indeed vicious. Gao Ran looked at Zhu Lingling. The 2 people next to him began to argue with each other again. Qin Shu acted as if he didn't hear anything. She quietly picked up the menu and looked at it for a while. Then, she said, I want dry-fried river prawns braised with ear with scallions, lemon melon sticks, and steamed chicken with saliva, and also a Westlake beef soup. Huamin listened quietly. He felt that Qin Shu's order was quite good. The combination of meat and vegetables was quite unique. After the waiter took away the menu, the 4 of them sat facing each other and suddenly quieted down. Actually, they weren't that familiar with each other in the first place. If they started chatting awkwardly, it would be really awkward. Huamin, did you know? You're the first girl Chu likes, his first love. Ha! Gao Ran was a busybody. Oh, really? Zhu Lingling giggled. We're not like that. Huamin still wanted to explain. Okay. Don't worry, we're all friends. We won't expose you two, but you two have to be more restrained in class. Don't get too close and flirt with each other. After all, the school is very strict. I heard that if you're caught in puppy love, you'll be punished. If it's too bad, you'll be expelled. It doesn't matter. With our grades, many schools will fight to get us even if we leave second high. You can ask the principal if he dares to expel us. Qin Shu rarely boasted, and this time was no exception. Everyone knew that when Huamin first came to second high, the principal personally came to persuade him several times. In the end, the principal offered very good conditions. How could he bear to give up on such a talent? So now that we have something on you, you too can do whatever you want. This is the first time I feel that good grades can be so awesome. You're practically standing shoulder to shoulder with the sun. Gao Ran laughed mischievously. So now, only straight-A students have the right to be in a relationship, and straight-A students can't. Zhu Lingling understood what Qin Shu meant and immediately had a bitter expression. Chapter 47:18. Huamin laughed. Hey, Zhu Lingling, you're going overboard. I'm telling the truth. That's the situation now. You're a bad student, but that doesn't stop you from dating Zhu Lingling. She really dated that coward Xingyan. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Gao Ran felt quite upset. He felt like a flower stuck in cow dung. He really didn't understand why Zhu Lingling, who was so domineering, would fall for that coward. He didn't have any sense of responsibility at all. Don't fucking spread rumors, okay? Zhu Lingling glared at Gao Ran. Then, she looked for Huamin to settle the score. My Mian, you traitor. You used to be inseparable from me, and we were together every day. Now that you have a boyfriend, you turn against me. I'm telling the truth. Huamin continued to smile gently. What truth? Come on, tell me. Who's my boyfriend? Isn't your boyfriend from Class 8? My class. Damn, who is it? Zhu Lingling, you're so good. You even reached out to Class 8. Upon hearing that he was from Class 8, Gao Ran couldn't sit still anymore. However, upon hearing that he was from Class 8, he knew that it wasn't the basketball team captain. Far away on the horizon, right in front of us, Qin Chu said. Huamin and Qin Chu looked at each other and smiled. The two of them really had a tacit understanding. Damn. You're not talking about me, right? Gao Ran finally realized. The meaning of far away on the horizon, right in front of us, was very obvious. There were a total of 4 people, and 3 of them were from Class 1. Only Gao Ran was from Class 8. After Gao Ran finished speaking, Qin Chu and Huamin still smiled and said nothing. In your dreams. Why would I date an idiot like you? Don't. Even if you want to be with me, I can't accept it. The two of them started bickering with each other again, starting to fight as soon as there was a disagreement. However, Huamin had a strange feeling in his heart. She had a feeling that Lingling would marry Gao Ran in the future. Although Gao Ran was good at talking, he was a kind person. She and Qin Chu could tell that he liked Lingling. As the saying goes, the onlooker sees the game more clearly than the person directly involved. The dishes were served one after another. Huamin looked at the dazzling array of dishes on the table and sighed softly. The 4 of us are eating 16 dishes. It's too extravagant. This is the most extravagant meal I've ever had. Usually, she, her mother, and Jixin would only eat 2 dishes, 1 meat dish and 1 vegetable dish. It was indeed wasteful for 4 people to eat 16 dishes. Zhu Lingling, however, didn't think it was a big deal. After all, Qin Chu's family's wealth was unimaginable. Sure enough, Gao Ran smiled and said, "This is nothing. Chu usually eats 8 dishes when he's alone at home. He takes a few bites of each dish. His stomach is very precious. He's like a domineering CEO." Zhu Lingling was amused. "Poverty limits my imagination," Huamin said quietly. "It's okay. When you marry into his family, the 2 of you will eat 16 dishes together." Gao Ran continued to tease her. "Ahem. It's not like your Empress Dowager Cixi. Forget it. I don't have the fortune to enjoy it. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and eat. Class is starting soon." Huamin felt that he hadn't acknowledged that guy's identity. Why did she suddenly become his girlfriend? Why did she have to think so far ahead? Faced with these teases, Qin Chu didn't say anything. However, he picked up a cola chicken wing and silently placed it in Huamin's bowl. Instantly, Huamin felt a trace of warmth in his heart, but more than that, he felt embarrassed. Chapter 47:19. Hey, you're showing off your love again. Can we eat properly? Gao Ran complained. "We're going to reject your love and kick your dog bowl," Zhu Lingling said domineeringly. "Why don't we leave first, and you 2 pay the bill?" Qin Chu said seriously. The 2 immediately fell silent. The advantage of being rich was that you could diss others at any time, but others wouldn't dare to diss you. Huamin was both angry and amused. The 4 of them were probably hungry, except for Qin Chu, who ate elegantly. The other 3 could be described as a hurricane. Zhu Lingling, in particular, didn't care about her ladylike image at all. She just ate the pork shoulder and praised it. Huamin thought to himself, "The food here is so expensive. If it's not delicious, who would come?" After eating and drinking to their heart's content, there were still a lot of 16 dishes left. The dishes in the north were very big and in large quantities, so it was very affordable. Therefore, no matter how much the 4 of them ate, it was impossible for them to finish all 16 dishes. Looking at the dishes, Huamin gritted his teeth. Although he knew that he would lose fans if he said out loud, he still said it. Can I take the rest home? Huamin glanced at Qin Shu. Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran were a little embarrassed. After all, they had been pampered since they were young. Their family conditions were relatively good, and these children were indeed not used to eating takeout. Huamin thought that Qin Shu would be unhappy if he said this. However, she really didn't want to waste food. Huamin lived in the eastern suburbs, which was a civilian area. Since he was young, he had seen many neighbors who ate and dressed poorly. There was even a family that only had a grandmother and 3 grandchildren. The children's parents had died in a car accident. Their family relied on government subsidies to survive, and their lives were extremely simple. It was fine in summer, and they could grow vegetables in their own yard. However, this city had 5 months of winter every year. As long as there was a heavy snowfall, fruits, vegetables, and meat would be several times more expensive than usual. Ordinary people simply couldn't afford it. Therefore, Huamin decided to take these dishes home. He would keep a portion for himself and send the rest to the old lady. Unexpectedly, not only was Qin Shu not angry, he actually said, "Of course we have to pack it up. I hate wasting food the most." Huamin was slightly stunned. Then, Qin Shu got up and went to the waiter to get the takeout box. Then, the two of them quickly packed up the leftovers. However, Qin Shu didn't hand it to Huamin. He said, "It's not convenient for you to carry so much. I'll send it to the guard at the gate. You can take it when you leave school." After that, Qin Shu left. Huamin was touched once again because she knew that Qin Shu was afraid that she would bring so many takeout boxes back to class. She would be gossiped about by other students. The first class in the afternoon was the class teacher's class. However, the class teacher wasn't in a hurry to start the class. Instead, she announced something. "This weekend, we will be going on an outing to Jade Green Mountain. Everyone must bring tents and jackets because the temperature in the mountains will be low at night. The school will prepare food for you." Wow, hooray! Many of the students became excited when they heard about the outing. However, Ms. Yao continued, "This event is sponsored by Lu Xiying's father. Everyone, please give her a round of applause." The students were a little surprised. Although they didn't know the purpose, they were still very happy that Lu Xiying had taken so much money to sponsor an outing for everyone. Thus, the class thundered with applause. Huamin was a little conflicted because she knew that Lu Xiying hated her and didn't like her. Sure enough, at this moment, Lu Xiying stood up and looked around. Finally, her gaze fell on Huamin. She said, "I only have one request. Huamin can't go." After she said this, the whole class was in an uproar. Chapter 47:20. After Lu Xiying said this, everyone was shocked. Although they knew that she usually targeted Huamin, they didn't expect her to be so brazen this time. Many students hated Lu Xiying and felt wronged for Huamin. However, they only thought this in their hearts and didn't dare to say it out loud. After all, Lu Xiying's family was the sponsor this time. "Xiying, your attitude is wrong. You have to treat everyone equally. You can't target anyone," Ms. Yao said. "Ms. Yao, I'm not targeting anyone. I think that Huamin is the top student in our class. She has to study at home on the weekends. Why would she waste 2 days to go on an outing with us? I'm doing this for her own good. Huamin, what do you think?" After speaking, Lu Xiying turned around and gave Huamin a harmless smile. Of course, Huamin was well aware of her own limitations. "Yes, Ms. Yao, I won't be going. I still have to study at home. After all, I got second place in the last monthly exam. I have to work hard." Huamin really said this gently. She wasn't jealous or mocking Lu Xiying, nor did she say anything unpleasant. Although it was a little uncomfortable to be rejected in front of others, Huamin was very good at adjusting her mood. Ms. Yao looked at Huamin for a while and felt a little heartache. However, she also knew the temper of rich girls. This time, it was a private sponsorship. In other words, the other classes couldn't go. Only Class 1 had a spot. The school also approved. They felt that the students of Class 1 were under a lot of pressure and wanted to go out and relax. "Ms. Yao, I won't be going either." This sentence was said by Qin Shu. He didn't pay attention to what everyone was saying. He had been absent-mindedly playing games on his phone. In fact, Qin Shu was really a weirdo. There were so many games, but he liked the old Tetris. This game was from many years ago and had long disappeared from the market. Perhaps Qin had a nostalgic complex, so he always played this game. It wasn't until Huamin said that she wasn't going that Qin put down the game and went straight to the point. However, as soon as Huamin announced that he wouldn't go, Qin said that he wouldn't go either. Such an obvious action shocked the whole class once again. Even teacher Yao didn't expect that this kid, who usually cherished his words like gold, would get involved in this situation. Without waiting for Mr. Yao to speak, Lu Xing lost her composure. Qin, the scenery in Yutsue Mountain is very beautiful. My dad even spent money to hire bodyguards for us, so there won't be any danger. There are springs, streams, and many autumn fruits to pick. It's really very beautiful. Let's go together. I've already prepared your equipment for you. Columbia's assault jacket and a Pathfinder's tent. Lu Xing was also anxious. She didn't care that so many classmates were watching and confessed to Qin. She had prepared so many things for him for no reason at all. It was obvious what was going on. Moreover, the classmates all knew that although Lu Xing was rich, she was never very generous to her classmates. This trip was probably for Qin. Lu Xing's father's company was medium-sized and was one of GK's many clients. He strongly supported his daughter's love for Qin. After all, if she married into a financial group like the Qin family, the benefits would be immeasurable. Therefore, this father really satisfied his daughter's every request. However, she didn't expect Qin to not give her face and directly reject her. Moreover, it was in front of the whole class and the teacher. If Qin didn't go, then Lu Xing's money would be wasted. Chapter 47:21. Although I got first place in the last monthly exam, it was really a fluke. In the future, I might be second place forever. So, in order not to embarrass myself, I have to study at home. Qin explanation wasn't for Lu Xing, but for Ms. Yao. Then, as long as you thought it through, Ms. Yao wouldn't force them. It was all up to the kids. Qin, this time, I'm here because... Before Lu Xing could finish her sentence, Qin interrupted her. Qin continued to play his game with his head lowered. What was scarier than indifference was disregard. Huamin didn't feel good. She knew that Qin didn't go because of her. Seeing that everyone had made up their minds, Ms. Yao didn't mention this matter and continued with the class. After the bell rang for the end of class, teacher Yao left. Lu Xing didn't care about her image and ran to Qin again. Qin, excuse me, I'm going to the washroom. Lu Xing. Qin stood up and looked at Huamin behind him. Do you want to go together? Huamin was dumbfounded. I can't go to the men's washroom, right? Huamin asked a stupid question. The surrounding students burst into laughter. Qin's face darkened. You can go to the women's washroom next door. Oh, that's fine. I'll go then. Huamin stood up and ran out with Qin. Qin was actually afraid that Lu Xing wouldn't find trouble with him and would make things difficult for Huamin. After all, she was just a teenage girl and didn't know how to fight. Back then, Huamin wasn't so sharp-tongued. After all, no one had any experience with love. He wasn't like Zhu Lingling, who was born with divine help and could talk back to Gaoran. Wow, what's going on with them? Are they really together? A classmate said. It should be. I saw them eating on the second floor of the cafeteria yesterday. Qin doesn't have high standards. I thought his girlfriend would be a school belle. It's not a loss. Huamin is a top student. Shut up, you guys are so annoying. Do you still want to go for the weekend outing? The more Lu Xing listened, the more annoyed she became. She shouted directly. Everyone was so scared that they fell silent. Then, she returned to her seat, covered her head with her school uniform, leaned over the table, and sobbed softly. It was such a terrible day for her. She felt that everything she had done for her father was going to go down the drain. Qin didn't appreciate it at all. He refused her without giving her any face. She had wanted to sleep in a tent during the outing. When everyone was asleep, she could take the opportunity to get close to Qin. Or he could pretend to be injured and let Qin carry him on his back. Now, it seemed that all his plans had gone down the drain. She seemed to understand why Qin didn't want to go. Lu Xing really hated herself. She would have let Huamin go. If Huamin went, Qin Shu could go too. In the corridor, Huamin followed behind Qin Shu without saying a word. Go back and tell your auntie that we're going for an outing this weekend. Qin Shu ordered domineeringly. But I'm not going. Huamin froze. I'll take you. Just the two of us? You can ask Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran too, Qin Shu said. Then, before Huamin could say anything, he added, if you don't think it's safe, you can bring more people. Your brother is fine too. No, that's not what I meant. Huamin saw that Qin Shu had misunderstood, so he explained. Then it's settled. Huh? Huamin was speechless. She hadn't agreed yet. So what did he mean by it was settled? This guy was too subjective. Qin Shu, Huamin was thinking of a way to refuse without making him angry. This is the men's washroom. Please behave yourself. After speaking, Qin Shu turned around and went inside. Huamin immediately stopped in his tracks. Looking embarrassed, he quickly ran back to the women's washroom. He was so focused on talking that he forgot about this. It was so awkward. He was so embarrassed that he almost died. Chapter 47:22. When Huamin came out of the female washroom, Qin Shu was already waiting at the door. However, he was leaning against the wall of the corridor. People were coming and going. If she didn't pay attention, she wouldn't be able to see him. Huamin was about to look for him when someone suddenly grabbed the collar of her school uniform. Then, two girls that she didn't know at all came in. They were also wearing school uniforms. Huamin, right? The one who grabbed her collar asked arrogantly. Yes. She was still calm. You bitch. How dare you seduce our school hunk? I don't know your school hunk. Stop pretending. Didn't the school hunk invite you to join his club that day? The girl's face was filled with envy and jealousy. Chi Hong. Huamin suddenly thought of that name. Yes, please stay away from our class Chi Hong in the future. If you want to flirt, do it in your own class. Don't torment our class. The girl's words were very unpleasant. She kept swearing. It was obvious that she didn't come with good intentions. Of course, Huamin was innocent. She was also very angry that someone grabbed her collar like this. He flung the girl away, and she fell to the ground. It was obvious how much strength she had used. This person has nothing to do with me. Please investigate clearly before you ask me. Also, this isn't the way to question people. Since you're so rude, then, I don't need to be polite to you either. Seeing that Huamin was so fierce, the other girl rushed up. She was about to slap Huamin's face. Huamin was about to reach out to stop her hand. However, she didn't expect a big hand to grab the girl's collar from behind. Then, he threw her over his shoulder, causing the girl to cry out in pain. A boy hitting a girl. How shameless are you? What kind of ability is that? The girl pointed at Qin Shu and scolded. Qin Shu didn't even raise his eyebrows. Fight? You're worrying too much. This is just how I deal with trash. Also, I don't care if you're a man, a woman, or a transvestite. You better stay away from Huamin. Otherwise, I guarantee that not only will you not be able to stay in this school, no one in Sea City will want you. After saying that, Qin Shu tugged on Huamin's sleeve and walked towards the classroom. After a dozen or so steps, he finally asked, Are you stupid? Why didn't you fight back? I did. Didn't you see that I pushed that person down? Huamin pursed his lips and smiled. I didn't see anything. I only know that someone grabbed you by the collar and questioned you for a long time. How could it take half a day? Just a few sentences, okay? Don't be treated like that next time. You have to make the first move, Qin Shu ordered. I don't think that's a good idea. My mom doesn't want me to fight. You know that girls these days are very precious. If I hurt her, I'll have to pay for her treatment. It'll cost a lot of money. So this isn't a fight. This is clearly a war of money. Huamin explained patiently, thinking that Qin Shu would understand. However, Qin Shu's face was still dark as he continued. From now on, you'll be in charge of hitting her. I'll pay for it. Just don't kill her. Huamin was speechless at this moment. The subtext was, how can there be a boyfriend like you? So violent, so arrogant. You even instigated your girlfriend to fight. Are you trying to screw your girlfriend over? Did you hear that? I heard it. Huamin nodded perfunctorily. He didn't want to dwell on this matter with him. How could Qin Chu not see through his thoughts? Therefore, he added, if you dare to lose or suffer a loss in the future, don't eat lunch. I'll make sure the Andes in the cafeteria don't give you any food. Chapter 47:23. Wow, so vicious. Huamin looked at him in surprise. Was he serious? However, Qin Chu showed his true colors again. He said, I'll take you out to eat every day. You'll become a pig if you eat fish and meat every day. Huamin thought, Qin Chu, you're so childish. Huamin was flustered and exasperated. She thought that she didn't lose out just now and had even returned the favor. She didn't know why this guy was so angry at her. It was as if his brain had short-circuited. Huamin didn't know that Qin Chu couldn't bear to see her get bullied, even verbally. That was why he was so ruthless just now. He picked her up like a chick and threw her for a long time. That unlucky girl was lucky not to have broken bones, right? When the two girls who were taking advantage of returned to class, they cried and asked the boys in their class to stand up for them. However, when everyone heard that the opponent was Qin Chu, they all hid far away. Are you guys still fucking men? We want to find that little bitch for our class. Now that we've been beaten up by a boy, you're just going to stand by and watch? You're all good-for-nothings. Do you still have conscience? The girls scolded. Zhou Yujia, are you an idiot? Who is he? Is he an ordinary person? That's Qin Chu. Do you know Qin Chu? He's the only son of a big conglomerate. He can do whatever he wants in this city. Even the principal has to be polite to him. He only needs to move his finger and you won't be able to survive in this city. You're doomed. You don't know how to repent and still want to cause trouble. If you want to die, go ahead. Don't drag everyone down with you. After hearing what the boy said, the girl named Zhou Yujia was a little flustered. Qin Chu? He's Qin Chu. All the girls in the school seemed to know Qin Chu's name. There were even many girls from other schools who came to see him. Firstly, he was handsome. Secondly, he was too rich. Thirdly, he was cold and aloof. In short, this person was very charismatic. Zhou Yujia didn't know Qin Chu. She only thought that he was a handsome boy. Who would have thought that it was actually Qin Chu? Then what do you think? Can't you grow a brain? After being scolded by the boys, she became much more listless and did not dare to mention the matter of seeking revenge. On the other side, after the two of them returned one after the other, no one seemed to find it strange anymore. After all, Qin Chu had been so obvious about protecting Huamin just now. If she said not to go, he wouldn't go. Everyone seemed to vaguely know what was going on. During the English class in the afternoon, the teacher came in with a lot of papers. Sunning-Ru, here we are. Distribute the papers to everyone. Hurry up and do it. This set of questions is new from the Ministry of Education. It might be included in the college entrance examination. Yes, teacher. She was a quiet girl with a pair of silver-rimmed glasses. She was the English class representative who was very good at English. After receiving the test papers, he distributed them to everyone one by one. When she arrived in front of Qin Chu, her face was slightly red. Qin Chu, good luck. Qin Chu raised his head and looked at her. Then he actually nodded. She was extremely happy. Then, when she distributed the papers to Huamin, she was even more excited. She was the kind of person who admired straight-A students, so she admired these two very much. Huamin, I think today's questions are so difficult. We only had an hour to finish a few papers. Huamin smiled. It's okay. Just do as much as you can. Anyway, I'll deal with it when it comes. You have a good mentality. If I had your mentality, I would probably be able to do better. I'm just too nervous. She snickered. Don't be nervous. You're great. Believe in yourself. After Huamin's encouragement, the little girl became even more motivated. She hurriedly finished distributing the papers, returned to her seat, and began to write by herself. 25 minutes later, Huamin stood up to hand in his paper. Suddenly, he saw Qin Chu stand up at the same time. His eyelids twitched. Chapter 47:24. Wow, are you serious? That's crazy. It's only been 25 minutes, and he's done. I still have a lot to do. A straight A student is indeed a straight A student. Awesome. These two inhumane guys only know how to torture us, Zhu Lingling said. The teacher wasn't surprised to see the two of them stand up. After all, Huamin usually handed in his papers very quickly. Qin Shu was about the same as her. The two of them walked to the podium one after another. Qin Shu didn't move, indicating that he wanted Huamin to hand in his papers first. Actually, no one liked to put their papers on the podium. The teacher would look at them. They were all afraid of embarrassment and wanted to stuff their papers down. Qin Shu didn't want to take advantage of this, so he stood there and waited for Huamin. After Huamin put his papers down, he put his own papers on the podium. Sure enough, the teacher saw Qin Shu's paper and looked at it seriously. Qin Shu didn't wait in the classroom and turned to leave. Huamin didn't want to go out, but he heard Qin Shu say in a low voice, "Let's go out and get some fresh air." Huamin thought about it and agreed. It was indeed tiring to finish the papers. The two of them walked out. "I'm so jealous of the straight A student. I can torture you to death in minutes. She can even squeeze out time to talk about love when she's doing questions. I swear, I'm not good at studying in this life, but I'll make sure my son studies well." Zhu Lingling swore to herself before she lowered her head and continued to write diligently. She would go crazy every time she took an exam. She was clearly a special student. Wasn't this making things difficult for her? She relied on her talent, not her studies. Actually, Zhu Lingling's family had always wanted her to enter the capital city film academy. It was one of the top film and television schools in the country. With her looks, she could become an actress. She couldn't be said to be famous, but she could still earn a lot as a C-list actress. On the other hand, Zhu Lingling was more open-minded. She felt that the entertainment industry was too messy, so it was better to be a simple stewardess. At least the working environment was monotonous, and there were more holidays, so he could fly around the country for fun. For someone like her, who loved to travel, this was simply a great thing. When Qin Shu and Huamin walked out, the other classes were also having their exams. There were also some schools with good qualifications who handed in their papers one after another. Qin Shu also seemed to have bumped into his junior high school classmates. "Hi, Qin Shu." The girl had short hair that reached her ears and looked very sweet. Even though she was wearing a school uniform, it couldn't hide her beauty. Huamin didn't know this girl. He just turned his head to look at Qin Shu. He just stopped, but didn't show any special expression. "What did your class test?" "English," Qin Shu said. "Our class is Chinese. This time, the questions set by the Ministry of Education are crazy." "All right, do you need me to tell you the key questions?" "The topic of the essay is..." "No, it won't be a surprise if I tell you." "Thank you, Chensi." After speaking, Qin Shu and Huamin continued to walk forward. The girl's eyes dimmed slightly. However, it returned to normal in a few seconds. Qin Shu's personality started in junior high school. No, she heard that it started in elementary school. He was very cold. However, recently, she heard that he had a good impression of the straight A student in her class. The two of them appeared together more often. Just now, she saw Qin Shu walking with her. It seemed that the rumors were most likely true. Chensi was really interested in this Huamin. After all, the person that Qin Shu liked must be special. Qin Shu walked with Huamin all the way to the school supermarket. "Wait for me." After speaking, Qin Shu went in. In less than a minute, he came out with 2 bottles of drinks in his hands. He handed the peach juice to Qin Shu and held a bottle of Coke for himself. "Drinking carbonated drinks. Aren't you afraid of getting fat?" Huamin teased. Chapter 4725. Qin Shu silently glanced at Huamin. "The sugar content of your peach isn't much worse than mine." Huamin was speechless. Qin Shu smiled proudly when he saw that he had succeeded. Then, he casually continued to stroll with Huamin. "Did you see the reading questions at the back of today's paper? They were really difficult. I've never seen a few words before. I relied on my reading comprehension to figure them out." Huamin wanted to discuss the paper with Qin Shu. Unexpectedly, this guy didn't say a word. Huamin silently lowered his head and drank the peach. Suddenly, Qin Shu asked, "What kind of renovation style do you like?" "Renovation?" Huamin felt that this topic was still too far away for him. After all, he was only in his teens. He didn't even have the ability to earn money, let alone a new house. Therefore, when Qin Shu suddenly asked, Huamin was a little confused. What expectations do you have for your home in the future? You can fantasize about it. Qin Shu repeated again. Huamin thought that this guy probably liked the design of the research lab. Then, she would chat with him. Therefore, she put the juice in her hand aside. She rested her chin on her hands and looked up at the green field of the school. I'm a Disney fan, so I want my home to be warm and romantic at the same time. It'd be best if the house is like a castle, the kind that's retro and has a lot of flavor. Also, I want to have a garden in front and behind the house. I want to plant a lot of flowers and plants. Then, when I'm free at night, I can go to the top of the mountain and set off fireworks. Ha ha! Am I dreaming too much? After saying that, Huamin laughed at herself. In this city, there was no one who could buy a house like Huamin's. Even if there was, the cost would be astronomical. An ordinary person would never be able to earn that much money in their lifetime. So after she said that, she even laughed. She knew that she was dreaming, so she didn't plan to make it come true. On the other hand, Qin Shu listened attentively and said, "That's a good idea. What about you? What kind of house do you want?" Huamin asked him. Qin Shu got up with a lot on his mind. He took a sip of Coke and said, "Same as you." Wow, I didn't expect a big guy like you to be so girly. Huamin was a little surprised. I'm a man who listens to my wife, Qin Shu said. For some reason, Huamin's face instantly turned red. She didn't forget to tease him. You make it sound like you have a wife. Qin Shu smiled slightly. Sooner or later. Then when you get married in the future, don't forget to invite me to your wedding. Huh, I really want to see what a wedding in high society is like, but I don't have the money to give you a gift. At most, I'll spend 100 or 200 yuan and freeload off of you for a meal that costs tens of thousands. Huamin was definitely joking. When she was young, she spoke and did things based on her mood. Because she was young, she could be willful and didn't have to be so restrained. She could do whatever she wanted. Therefore, at that time, Huamin wasn't as calm and reserved in front of Qin Shu. Qin Shu looked at her with a complicated expression. Don't worry, when I get married, I'll definitely invite you. You have to be there. Actually, Qin Shu was thinking, if you don't come, who's going to be my bride? However, he wouldn't say such explicit words to her directly. After Huamin heard this, although she felt that it was a little strange, there was nothing wrong with it. So she didn't think too much about it. A long time later, Huamin realized that her intelligence was only targeted at others. In front of Qin Shu, she was her true self. Only Qin Shu could remove her heavy shell. Oh, class is over. Let's go back. Huamin heard the bell and quickly stood up. Do you want another bottle of peaches? You seem to like it. Qin Shu looked at her gently. Chapter 47-26. Huamin wasn't used to being looked at so gently by Qin Shu. She lowered her head shyly. No, I'll go to the bathroom if I drink too much. Qin Shu couldn't help but want to laugh, but he didn't want the little girl to feel embarrassed, so he held it in. Okay, let's go back to class. The two walked back to class side by side, attracting a lot of attention along the way. After all, in a place like school, due to the country's education system, prohibited puberty was forbidden. Therefore, even on campus, boys and girls who secretly liked each other and confirmed their relationship didn't dare to be so blatant. Therefore, along the way, they heard a lot of people secretly talking. Wow, are they the two straight A students in class 1? I should say that they're the first and second in the entire grade. They're so awesome. Huamin looks so ordinary, but Qin Shu is very handsome. Are they dating? When we have time, let's go to class 1 and ask around. The two of them were naturally a little embarrassed when they heard this, but they didn't say anything. When Huamin returned to class, she saw Lu Xiying's murderous gaze. Then, she silently ignored it and slept on her stomach. Actually, most of the time, Huamin wasn't really asleep. She was listening to the teacher with her eyes closed. All the scenes that the teacher had told her flashed through her mind. There really wasn't anyone who did nothing but sleep every day and still got first place. Also, Huamin handed in her homework on time, but she didn't like tutoring or revising. Everyone had a different way of learning. She had only invented a more suitable way of learning. After school, Qin Shu seemed to have something to do. After sending Hua Min a WeChat message, he left. Hua Min saw GK's car pick him up, so he went out to get on the bus. Hua Min. A very familiar voice came from behind him. Hua Min turned around and silently looked at Lu Xing behind him. Beside her was a black Mercedes-Benz business car. It seemed to be the driver her father sent to pick her up from school. "What's the matter?" Hua Min asked her lightly. Lu Xing walked over step by step with a complicated expression on her face. "It's a weekend outing. I agree to let you come, but I have one condition," she said. "Persuade Qin Shu to go as well." Hua Min didn't even need to think about it. He knew what she was up to. Since he had already made things clear, Lu Xing no longer hesitated. "Yes, that's what I'm thinking. After all, my family is paying for this trip. My dad prepared the best equipment and food for everyone. That's 2,000 yuan per person. Since you're enjoying the benefits that my family brings, you naturally have to do something." "Sorry, I'm not interested." Hua Min rejected him without even thinking about it. Even if Lu Xing's family wanted to take them to Hawaii, Hua Min wouldn't go. After all, she was never the kind of person who would take advantage of others. "Don't be ungrateful." Lu Xing was a little angry. "You're worrying too much. I just don't like activities like wilderness survival. I prefer to stay at home comfortably." "So you're saying that you won't help me?" "I can't help you. Qin Shu is a loner. If you want him to come, you could talk to him. It's useless to talk to me." After speaking, Hua Min smiled slightly and turned to get on a bus that just happened to arrive. After she got on the bus, Lu Xing was still standing there, gritting her teeth in anger. Seriously, why would Qin Shu like a girl like her? He really has no taste. Lu Xing hated Hua Min. She had hated her since the first semester of her first year of high school. There was no solution to it. After Hua Min got on the bus, she didn't forget to look at everyone in the bus vigilantly. She was really afraid that Hua Xiqian would suddenly appear. Fortunately, he didn't. However, when she came home from school, she saw a lot of luxury cars parked in front of her yard. There were as many as 3 of them. Chapter 47:27. Hua Min had a bad feeling about this, so she rushed in with her backpack. Sure enough, she saw Jiang Hong, Hua Zhenghai's official wife, talking to her mother in a crimson cheongsam. Hua Xiqian and a few bodyguards were standing beside her. It was a grand scene. Jixin was so scared that he hid in his room and didn't dare to come out. It was obvious that they didn't come with good intentions. "Little sister Mian, you're back." Hua Xiqian was always smiling, especially when he saw Hua Min. "What are you doing here?" Hua Min didn't bother to be polite. She swung her backpack and glared at Jiang Hong and Hua Xiqian with hostility. "So, this is Mian. You've grown so tall." Jiang Hong smiled. However, Yang Merong's face was still serious. "Mrs. Hua, please go back. I'm just an ordinary housewife now. I'm not talented, scheming, or useful. You've come to the wrong person. Little sister Meirong, I came to you to prove that you're valuable. Even if you don't think for yourself, you have to think for your child. Do you know what kind of education Mian will receive if she goes back? After high school, she'll go abroad to further her studies. With her brain and intelligence, it'll be easy for her to get into a world-class university. However, studying abroad is expensive. I'm not looking down on you, but you really can't afford it. It's at least 1,000,000 yuan for 4 years. After graduation, she can come back to the whole corporation to work, or she can stay abroad. I won't interfere. It's her own freedom. She'll have a better future, right?" Jiang Hong said to Yang Meirong. He could tell that Yang Meirong wasn't completely unmoved. Mian was indeed a good seedling. If she was nurtured, she wouldn't go wrong. Their family definitely didn't even dare to think about studying abroad. Even if the school waived the fees, they still had to rent a house and eat for the next few years. In other countries, especially in Country M, it was quite a large sum of money. "Mrs. Hua, thank you for your kindness, but I'm born poor. I don't want to go abroad. Let me fend for myself. I'll accept whatever my mother teaches me. You, on the other hand, Time is precious. Don't waste your time here. Okay, take your men and leave. I need to do my homework. Jiang Hong faintly glanced at Huamin. You may still be too young to understand the importance of material things. That's where you're wrong. It's precisely because I know the importance of material goods that I went to second high. But if these materials come with conditions, we won't accept them because we're not old cows. We don't want to be led by the nose. Hearing what Huamin said to Jiang Hong, Hua Xiqian almost burst out laughing. Originally, he never liked to get involved in Jiang Hong's matters. From the bottom of his heart, he was disgusted by this old woman. However, Jiang Hong was going to Huamin's house today, so he pretended to be a good boy just to see Huamin. Reality proved that it was the right choice to come. Huamin was too charming when he insulted others. Hua Xiqian liked him very much. However, he still didn't show it. You child, you really don't know what's good for you. You're the second person today to say that I don't know what's good for me. Instead of scheming and using us, why don't you think of a way to deal with Shenjiani and her daughters? You? Jiang Hong choked on her words and was at a loss for words. Chapter 4728. She was born into a prestigious family and had never been wronged in her life after marrying into the Hua family. However, today, she was insulted by the little girl. She was very angry. Xiqian, let's go. Jiang Hong was very angry and stood up. Sister Mian, I bought the gift. Don't refuse it. Thank you for treating me to dinner the other day. After Hua Xiqian said this, Huamin noticed a few intricate bags under the table. He didn't know what was inside. However, Hua Xiqian said it very softly. Other than Huamin, no one else heard it. Huamin didn't move at all. Perhaps only the female leads in idol dramas would say, "Hey, don't go. Take your things. We don't want them." However, Huamin didn't. The Hua family had never given him any benefits over the years. Hua Zhenghai, as a father, had never fulfilled his obligations. Therefore, she felt that it was natural to accept gifts. After all, it was the Hua family's money. Her mother had suffered a lot back then. This little bit of money was nothing. After those people left, young Mei Yirong sighed slightly. Mom, what did that old witch say to you? Young Mei Yirong looked up with a heavy heart. She said that she wanted me to send you back to the Hua family. She'll raise you and provide you with the best education. You'll live like a princess and never have to worry about food or clothing. Don't listen to her bullshit. That old witch wants to use me. She's not that kind. She thinks that I have good grades and can be used as a shield. When I graduate and go back to work at the Hua family, I'll still be under her control. She probably can't control Shenjiani anymore. She doesn't have any children of her own, and Hua Xiqian is an adopted son. Shenjiani gave birth to 2 children, a boy and a girl, and the heartless man likes them. So, she's looking for reinforcements for herself. Mom knows everything you said. Mom, are you wavering? Huamin felt that his mother was a little off today. Actually, there's nothing wrong with this. You're a good seedling. Staying here will only hinder you. Mian. When Yang Meirong said this, her eyes were already filled with tears. Mom, what are you talking about? Our family hasn't been doing well these past few years, but you haven't mistreated me. After Jixin was born, Uncle Jing went out to work. We've been trying our best to maintain this family of 4. We don't have what the Hua family has, but the peace and tranquility we have is something the Hua family doesn't have. Money can't buy that. Compared to an empty house with billions of dollars, I still prefer this poor but warm family. Huamin's words made young Mei Yirong cry. She didn't speak, but Jixin suddenly ran out. Mom, please don't send my sister away. I really love her. Huamin felt bad and patted Jixin's head. Mom, I've grown up and earned money. I can take care of you, Dad, and my sister. I'm a man, and I want to take care of this family. But please don't let my sister go. She's a very important member of our family, and we can't live without her. Jixin's words made Huamin almost cry. She rubbed her eyes. All right, stop being sentimental. Come, open it, and see what the whole family bought for us. Sis, we can't accept this. We can't be so spineless, Jixin said. Wrong. This is an apology the Hua family owes Mom. They haven't given you anything good all these years. This is nothing. With that, Huamin squatted down, pulled out the bag, and opened the packaging with Jixin. She was surprised. She thought it would be exquisite snacks or something like that. After all, the Hua family was famous for being stingy. She didn't expect it to be some tableware. It was porcelain and looked very expensive. There was also a stainless steel wok. It was super practical. Huamin had seen it in the supermarket. It was very expensive, about 1,000 yuan each. The one she had was only 98 yuan, so it couldn't compare. Oh my god, what is this? Jixin opened a box and screamed. Chapter 47:29. Huamin looked in Jixin's direction and was slightly surprised. There were 3 sets of thermal underwear. One of them was dark purple in color. Huamin looked at the size and saw that it was his mother's. There was also a man's set, navy blue in Jixin's size. The bottom one was light yellow in Huamin's size. Autumn in the north was very short. Sometimes it would start snowing in October. People who lived in buildings had collective heating. Huamin's bungalow had their own stove. They would buy some cheap coal, but if the coal wasn't burned well, it was easy to get carbon monoxide poisoning. Everyone knew that coal wasn't good, but they had no choice but to buy the cheapest. However, even if they burned coal, the eastern suburbs would still be extremely cold in winter. Huamin sometimes had to cover himself with 2 cups and hug a hot water bag to sleep. The thermal underwear was too expensive. If they bought 3 at once, it would cost 3 to 4,000 yuan. This was a huge sum of money for this family. Now that there were 3 sets of thermal underwear, Huamin's mood was really complicated. It was obvious that these weren't from Jianghong. That woman of hers wouldn't be so considerate. It seemed that Hua Xiqian really bought them. Wow, we're going to be happy this winter. Sis, we have thermal underwear, and it's from a famous brand. Jixin held the underwear and couldn't put it down. Huamin's mood was a little complicated. He didn't say anything and continued to unwrap the packaging. There were also 4 cans of milk powder. However, it was the kind that teenagers drank. It contained calcium, iron, zinc, and selenium. It was obviously for students' brains. These health supplements cost more than 300 yuan per can. For cans would cost more than 1,000 yuan. They really couldn't afford it, but Hua Xiqian bought it. Milk powder. Damn, this brand is very famous. Many of our classmates drink it. Jixin's voice was even more excited. It seems that Jiang Hong spent a lot of money to win us over, Yang Mei Yirong said coldly. No, Mom, Jiang Hong didn't buy these. She doesn't have the time to buy so many things for us. Oh, it's not her, it's a gift from Hua Xiqian. He's a very meticulous person. Perhaps he's trying to win us over, so he gave us some small favors. Then this child's brain is really not simple. She really needs to think before buying these things. It's not that just because she has money, she needs to pick them one by one. In that instant, Huamin also felt that Hua Xiqian was not a simple person. Jixin continued to open the box and screamed again. Sis, look, 2 Parker pens, 1 for you and 1 for me. Even the fountain pens were branded. Jixin couldn't stay calm anymore. I gave it all to you. I don't want it. Are you stupid? It's very expensive. Jixin reminded his sister. It doesn't matter what I use. I'm giving it to you. Huamin had never liked these brands. After all, a person wearing a short-sleeve shirt that cost less than 1,000 yuan would feel too out of place if he used a fountain pen that cost more than 1,000 yuan. She really didn't want to humiliate herself. At the end, Huamin saw a pair of shoe boxes. It was from Nike. She opened it and saw that it was white, a women's fall-winter style. She could wear it immediately. It was a very simple white shoe with a green Nike logo. This shoe was the hottest item this year, and many people in second high were wearing it. It was said that it cost 1,390 yuan a pair. It was said that it was very durable, comfortable, breathable, and didn't rub your feet. Huamin really liked sports shoes. The one on her feet was a very small brand that was on sale, and it only cost 69 yuan a pair. She had to admit that she liked the white shoes from the first time she saw them. However, she felt that it would be strange if she wore them. After all, they were given by Hua Xiqian. Sis, no wonder you gave me the fountain pen. Huh, so you have a big trick up your sleeve. Jixin thought that Huamin knew in advance. These shoes are really nice. Mian, you don't have many shoes. Wear these, her mother encouraged. Chapter 47:30. As for why Hua Xiqian gave her shoes, she guessed that it was because they met every time. Hua Xiqian saw that she was wearing 69 yuan sneakers. It looked a little shabby, so he bought it, right? Huamin wasn't that noble. As long as it was beneficial to him and didn't violate his principles, he would accept it. Hua Xiqian bought these shoes that their family could use. Therefore, Huamin calmly persuaded his mother to put them away. As for the thermal underwear, he even tried the size himself. It was really good. As for the shoes, Huamin didn't wear them. She always felt that it wasn't a good sign for a guy to give a girl a pair of shoes for no reason. Therefore, she quietly put them in the corner and sealed them. She didn't wear them, but she didn't throw them away either. After eating his mother's vegetable and pork noodles, Jixin went to do his homework. Huamin took a quick shower and went back to his room. Then, he picked up a novel and read it with great interest. Just then, his phone rang. It was Qin Shu calling. Back then, the internet hadn't been popularized in the country. Most people's phones weren't smart either. Moreover, the phone bill was quite expensive. Even if it was a call in the city, it would cost 20 cents per minute. Huamin was the kind of person who only picked up and didn't call. Sometimes, his heart ached when he replied to too many messages. After all, it was 10 cents per message. It wasn't like now, where he could casually use WeChat. Huamin nervously picked up the phone. His heart seemed to secretly race. Hello. As expected, she pretended to be calm when she picked up the phone. Did you tell your mom about that? Oh, I forgot. She didn't mean to. She really forgot about it. It was all Hua Xiqian and Jiang Hong's fault. Then tell her right now. You're not joking. Are you serious? Of course. Can we come back in 2 days? Huamin was a bit worried. Go on Friday and come back on Sunday. The time is just right. Why? Are you afraid you can't finish your homework? If there's a lot of homework, I won't be able to finish it. I can help you write it. What? Huamin thought he heard wrong. Qin Shu actually said that he would help her with her homework. What about you? Huamin wondered if he was going to finish the homework of 2 people. Unexpectedly, Qin Shu faintly said, You don't have to thank me. You win. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If I feel uncomfortable, I can bring along Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling. I'm fine with anything, Qin Shu reminded. After being reminded by Qin Shu, Huamin felt embarrassed. After all, he sounded as if he didn't trust the other party. Forget it. Lingling wants to survive in the wild. She's her best friend. Why didn't she say no to Lu Xiying? Qin Shu was a bit unhappy with Zhu Lingling's participation in this activity. She's always looking for trouble. She's going to go against Lu Xiying. I told her not to go, but she wouldn't listen. She's been very angry lately. Zhu Lingling naturally had to take care of Hua Min's emotions. However, she wasn't going to take advantage of her by participating in the survival in the wild. I see. Qin Shu finally understood Zhu Lingling's intentions. She was indeed a weirdo. Then you can go and tell Annie. Our company's car will take us there after school on Friday. Okay, I'll go and talk to her first. My mom will probably agree. Huamin was conflicted. She didn't like to lie, but this time she had to. After all, she couldn't just say that she was going on an outing with a male classmate. If her mother heard that, wouldn't she go crazy? Chapter 47:31. Huamin came to the yard with a troubled look on his face. It was already 9 o'clock. Her mother was still knitting a scarf for her and Jixin. She bought the wool for cheap, and her mother knitted it skillfully. It was almost winter, and she could use it. Huamin poured a glass of warm water and walked to his mother. Mom, drink some water first and rest. Okay. Yang Meirong happily took the water and put down the ball of wool in her hand. Mom, I want to tell you something. Speak. This weekend, our class is going on a wilderness survival trip. We'll be back on Sunday. The teachers and students will go. Okay, we'll go too. How much do we have to pay? Yang Meirong was about to take out money from her pant pocket. No, Mom. A girl's family sponsored it. Her father is a businessman and has an outdoor clothing brand. They prepared everything for us, including food. It's free. Yang Meirong was surprised. Huomin nodded. Oh, that's a good thing. But we can't take advantage of them. We have to give them something in return. A few days ago, I went with the neighbors and dug up a lot of wild vegetables and mushrooms. You can give them to them. They're pure green and can't be bought on the market. There's no need. They might not care about these things. Nonsense. Rich people like to eat these pure green products. They have the effect of lowering blood sugar and blood fat. They're very good. Unable to resist his mother's persuasion, Huomin had no choice but to follow his mother to find the wild vegetables. He washed them and wrapped them in cling film. She wondered if Qin Shu would reject her if she brought this to him. That would be embarrassing. In the blink of an eye, it was Friday. Everyone was excited. Lu Xiying was still looking for an opportunity to persuade Qin Shu. Qin Shu ignored her, making her unable to speak. Zhu Lingling, on the other hand, was very excited. She leaned into Huomin's ear and said, "This time, I'll avenge you and kill that evil woman." No, no, no. There's no deep hatred. Why do you have to? Who are you talking about? Fly Lu is always picking on you. It's okay. She didn't do anything to me. Huomin smiled slightly. That won't do. I've already thought about it. I'm going to bring my own caterpillar there, and then take the opportunity to put it on her. I don't think so. You'll scare me to death. Huomin was also afraid of insects. Don't be afraid. That woman is so vicious. She might just eat it. After all, it's high in protein. Ugh. Huomin suddenly felt nauseous. After school, everyone left through the west gate. Lu Xiying's father hired a big bus. The students were all taken away in a car. Teacher Yao also went. There was also a small bus dedicated to the students' necessities. They had really spent a lot of money on this. When the other classes heard about this matter, they were all very envious. Surprisingly, there were also classes that started to follow suit. Every class had quite a number of nouveau riche and rich second-generation heirs. Therefore, it was not difficult to go on a 2-day trip. Those students who were not well-to-do could just take advantage of it. Come with me. Seeing Huomin staring blankly at the students who were leaving, Qin Shu couldn't stand it. He didn't want the girl he liked to be wronged. He thought that this was the feeling that all boys at that age had. After Qin Shu led Huomin out of the front gate, they saw a silver BMW X6 parked there. Qin Shu opened the door and let Huomin into the car. Then he sat in the back seat. "Young master." The driver hurriedly greeted. "Let's go." "Okay, sit tight." Then the car started. Huomin really didn't bring anything other than a backpack. Qin Shu took out 2 bottles of mineral water, opened them, and handed them to her. "Thank you." Qin Shu didn't say anything. After a while, he said gently, "It'll take 3 hours on the highway. Bear with it for a while. When we arrive, we'll eat." Chapter 4732. Okay. Huomin nodded shyly. They didn't talk much along the way. After all, there was a driver in front of them. What did you tell your parents?" "I said we were going on an outing. But I told my dad that we were going to our own hotel." "You told them the truth." Huomin was slightly surprised. "Yes." Huomin felt very guilty. Then, there was no more movement. The driver was very smart. He knew that his young master had a girlfriend. Along the way, they played soothing music. On the way, Qin Shu took out some snacks from a bag in the car for Huomin to eat. Huomin only ate 1 piece of chocolate. Then, she felt a little sleepy. She lay on the armchair and fell asleep. Until she fell asleep, she was still holding the study bag in her hands. She was very cute. Qin Shu was holding the notebook. He was looking at the company's second quarter's data comparison. Then, he heard a soft sound of sleep. Only then did he know that she had fallen asleep. "Young master, there's an air-conditioned blanket in the back." The driver reminded him. Qin Shu turned his head. He took out an air-conditioned blanket, opened the packaging, and covered Huomin with it. But before that, he took down the study bag in her arms. Huomin's study bag was black. It was a little old. She had been carrying it. Moreover, the style was now outdated. Qin Shu silently memorized this in his heart. At this moment, A strange idea suddenly appeared in his mind. He suddenly wanted to see what was in this girl's bag. Qin Shu quietly unzipped Huamin's old bag. At the top was a stationery box. Then there were 3 or 4 textbooks. There was also a cup. He shook it. There was still water in it. Further down, there was actually another bag of raw materials. Qin Shu took it out. It was actually wild vegetables and some mushrooms. But maybe because she had been holding it in for a day, it was a little soft. Qin Shu quickly opened the bag to let in some air. He thought that this might be the pure green food that Huamin had brought himself. At the bottom of the pile was Huamin's wallet. It was a very cute cartoon wallet. It was pink in color, and there was a picture of an anime girl on it. This was a purse that many girls in junior high liked. However, the price was very common, only 49 yuan. His mother had bought it for Huamin's birthday 3 years ago. At that time, Huamin was only in the first year of high school. He liked it very much and had been using it ever since. Qin Shu hesitated for a moment before opening Huamin's wallet. There were 2 RMB notes inside. One was a 100 yuan note, and the other was a 5 yuan wallpaper. 105 yuan was already a lot. This was Huamin's allowance for 2 weeks. Initially, her mother was worried that it wasn't enough and wanted to give her more. All these years, Yang Meiyerong had never owed her anything. Even later, they found out that Huamin was the daughter of Professor Liu and Dr. Linya. She didn't give birth to her, but after raising her for so many years, she loved her more than her own. Qin Shu's heart ached a little. He knew that Huamin was very restrained when it came to spending money. Other than occasionally treating Zhu Lingling to drinks and food, he didn't spend much of his money. Most of the time, he ate tomato, scrambled eggs, and celery shredded potatoes in the cafeteria. That was because these 2 dishes were cheap and delicious. Huamin didn't dare to think about sweet and sour pork ribs or roasted chicken drumsticks. He rarely ate them unless it was a special occasion. Qin Shu's heart ached. He was born to be an elite, so he didn't know the hardships of the common people. He didn't want to care about the hardships of the common people because it had nothing to do with him. However, Huamin was related to him. Therefore, Qin Shu's next move was to take out his wallet and put a few notes into Huamin's wallet. Finally, he quietly returned everything to its original place, except for the wild vegetables. Chapter 4733. After a while, they arrived at the toll station. The car drove slowly. Huamin woke up in a daze. Are we almost there? Yes, there's still 20 minutes. Qin Shu replied calmly. Huamin lowered his head and suddenly saw the wild vegetables. He was dumbfounded. How did you find it? I found it in your bag. You actually went through my bag? Huamin felt that Qin Shu would not do such an uncultured thing. He was furious. Yes. Why? Why did you do that? Huamin raised his voice. The driver in front quickly turned around to look. Qin Shu was still calm. Because I faintly smelled the fragrance of wild vegetables. This sentence completely turned Huamin's anger into laughter. You're talking nonsense. It's true. I want to ask you, since you're here, why didn't you share it with me? You drank my water and ate my chocolate. Huamin did not know whether to laugh or cry. He thought to himself, why is a big boy so calculative? I don't eat it raw. I need to stir-fry it or cook it and dip in meat sauce. That's good. When we arrive at the hotel, I'll pass it to the kitchen. Anyway, you're not allowed to eat it secretly. Since I brought it here, I don't plan to eat it secretly. It's good that you don't mind. My mom picked these from the mountains and didn't spend any money. Huamin had just finished speaking and did not wait for Qin Shu to speak. The middle-aged driver was the first to lose his calm. He said weakly, Young master, can you share some with me? My wife's blood sugar is a little high. I heard this is very effective. What do you think? Qin Shu did not dare to agree directly. He directly asked Huamin, Little girl, thank you. Can you share some with me? Yes, anything is fine, as long as you like it. Huamin smiled. No, I want to eat it too. Qin Shu was stubborn to the end. She was actually jealous of her own driver. Huamin smiled and said, Okay. You two can each take half, okay? With that said, Huamin quickly used a bag to give half of the wild vegetables and mushrooms to the driver. "Thank you, young lady." The driver was very happy. Chu hurriedly hugged the remaining wild vegetables in his arms, afraid that someone would snatch them away. After driving for another 20 minutes, the sky was completely dark, because it was already 5 o'clock when school ended. 3 hours later, it was already 8 o'clock. The car drove directly to the entrance of the resort. Huamin glanced at the luxurious hotel with more than 10 floors. One look, and one could tell that it wasn't cheap. As soon as the car stopped, the lobby manager came over. She was a beautiful young lady. "Young master, the chairman has already called and asked us to treat you well. Come with us. We'll send your luggage to your room first. You and your friends can go to the restaurant first. The food is already prepared." Chu nodded. He didn't say anything. He was still as cold as ever. The luggage and backpack were all taken away by the waiter. Chu brought Huamin to the restaurant. He ordered the people to prepare food and accommodation for the driver. Chu brought Huamin to the elevator and went to the revolving restaurant on the top floor. Unexpectedly, there were only the two of them in the revolving restaurant. Then, what was even more shocking was that it was a buffet. There were both Chinese and Western dishes. Just the Chinese dishes alone numbered more than 30. There was also Japanese sashimi and sashimi. There was also Thai pineapple rice and Indonesian pancakes. It was simply luxurious to the extreme. "Is it too wasteful for just the two of us to eat? The two of us will finish in an hour. Dinner will be served here at 9:30. It will only be open then," Chu explained patiently. Then, he took a plate and placed it in Huamin's hand. "Here, take whatever you want to eat." Then he added, "It's a bit tiring on the road. You can eat more." Huamin's heart warmed. Chu seemed to only be pleasant to her. This really wasn't narcissistic. Chapter 4734. Huamin smiled and nodded. "Okay, I'll do it myself. I promise I won't stand on ceremony with you." It was already 8 o'clock in the evening. She was indeed very hungry. Lunch was at 12 o'clock, and she was already growling. Although Chu had given her some snacks and fruits on the way, Huamin was still very hungry. Huamin loved rice all her life. It was as if she wouldn't be full if she didn't eat rice. Therefore, she didn't hold back at all. She picked up the plate and picked up her favorite food. Chu, on the other hand, was very simple. He just picked up a piece of freshly grilled steak and a few pieces of cantaloupe. He took a glass of lemonade and paired it with the wild vegetables that Huamin brought. It was a mix of Chinese and Western food. Perhaps it was because Chu's father also studied abroad. Chu's previous diet was more foreign. Breakfast sandwiches and bread had more milk, or German-style grilled sausages. Therefore, his food had always been exquisite and simple, but he also liked Chinese food. Ever since he fell in love with Huamin, he realized that this girl couldn't live without rice for all 3 meals. Moreover, she liked to eat all kinds of stir-fried dishes, so Chu was a little led astray. Huamin brought back a plate full of food. It was really a mix of Chinese and Western food. There was everything. There were donuts, egg fried rice, pineapple buns, braised pork, crab claws, and Korean fried rice cakes. You can get more. Chu was afraid that she wouldn't be full. "It's okay. I'll finish eating first. Otherwise, it'll be a waste." With that, Huamin lowered her head and wolfed down the food. During this time, she would raise her head from time to time and look at Chu. She realized that he would occasionally eat a piece of steak, but more often than not, he would eat those wild vegetables. "Is it good?" Huamin asked him. Actually, most of those wild vegetables tasted the same. They were fragrant, but a little bitter. Every year, her mother would bring some back. She and Jixin were already tired of eating them. However, she liked to eat wild vegetables and meat dumplings. "Well, it tastes good. Do you want to try it?" Chu picked up some and asked her. "No, my family makes a lot of it every year. I'm sick of it. I still like meat." After saying that, Huamin lowered his head and started eating, not caring about his image. Chu smiled slightly. He didn't say anything either. Huamin was really hungry, so she ate a lot. But no matter what, she was only a teenage girl. His eyes were big, but his appetite was small, so the space in his stomach was limited. Huamin was so full that he couldn't take it anymore. After dinner, the two of them went out. Without waiting for Qin Chu to speak, Huamin said, "I think I need to go out for a walk. I need to digest. If I lie down and sleep, not only will I gain weight, my stomach won't be able to take it." All right. Qin Chu nodded and followed behind Huamin. The two of them walked out one after another, chatting and laughing. The beautiful receptionists at the hotel started gossiping. "The chairman's son is so handsome. He's so good-looking at such a young age. What'll he look like when he grows up? That's young master's girlfriend, right? She looks average. But young master likes her. Think about it. Young master even brought her to Yunding Mountain. You can see how much he loves her. Every year, it's the chairman who brings Madam and young master to Yunding Mountain. He never brings outsiders. Aya, whose family's young lady is so lucky, she knows how to marry into a rich family at such a young age. Unlike us, who are waitresses our whole lives. Stop dreaming. How can puppy love bear fruit these days? Young master is still young. He's just playing around. He's still young and doesn't understand love. When he grows up, who knows how many women he'll hurt? Just that face of his is enough to make everyone fall for him." Huamin thought that it would be dark at night since they were halfway up the mountain. Who knew that when they came out, they would find the night view of the hotel very beautiful. There was a huge fountain in front of the hotel, surrounded by colorful neon lights. Chapter 4735. Wow, it's so beautiful here. Yes, when Grandpa was still alive, he liked this mountain range. Later, when he fell ill, my dad wanted to help Grandpa fulfill his wish and built this place. Unfortunately, Grandpa passed away before he could even take a look at it. But after it was built, it was really beautiful. My dad brought me and my mom here every year. Part of it is because we miss Grandpa, and the other part is because the air here is really good and suitable for a vacation. My dad is very busy now and doesn't have much time, but I will come here occasionally. What's the name of this place? When Huamin arrived, it was already dark and he couldn't see any road signs. Yunding Mountain. That's a good name. She smiled. Yeah, this is the last and largest primitive forest in the north. Yunding Mountain is just a small mountain. 50 kilometers in, it's really an uninhabited mountain range. Uninhabited mountain range means it hasn't been developed? Qin Chu nodded. Yes, there are mountains, rivers, and wild animals there, just like hundreds of years ago. It's very well protected. Actually, it's pretty good like this. Sometimes, overdevelopment isn't a good thing. Huamin sighed. Do you like it here? Yeah, I like it. I feel that the air here is much better. Huamin greedily breathed in the night air. It was a natural air with the fragrance of the earth. It was a luxury that the noisy big city would never have. Then, I'll bring you here often. Qin Chu's words were more obvious. Huamin was a little embarrassed. He lowered his head and didn't say anything. Qin Chu. Yeah? Lu Xing seems to have liked you for a long time, right? Yeah, I'm not sure. Qin Chu said lightly, as if he wasn't talking about himself. Huamin laughed. She likes you. It's so obvious. Don't you know? That's her business. It has nothing to do with me. I heard that she liked you since junior high. You were classmates for 3 years, right? Yeah, but we barely spoke more than 10 sentences. Huamin, oh my God. How did you do that? Huamin was shocked. Even if they were ordinary classmates, they wouldn't have not exchanged more than 10 sentences in 3 years. I don't care what she says. These words explained Qin Chu's arrogant character. Oh my God, the number 1 tsundere in history. Huamin laughed. Are you mocking me? No, I'm praising you. Huh? Qin Chu obviously didn't believe him. He turned his head away to express his silent protest. Actually, I think Lu Xing isn't a bad person. She's just a bit of a princess syndrome. I can understand why you don't like her, Huamin analyzed. What about you? Qin Chu turned around and looked at her seriously. What about me? Huamin played dumb. Huamin thought he would ask her about the boys from other classes chasing her. However, she forgot that Qin Chu wasn't a person who liked to gossip. Other than his own affairs, he didn't care about anyone else. Of course, now there was Huamin. What about you? Do you like me? Qin Shu asked naturally. He didn't feel embarrassed at all and asked so naturally. Huamin, on the other hand, felt like his brain was about to explode. How could this guy be so shameless? Huamin felt his body temperature rise rapidly. His face was as red as an apple. The air suddenly froze. Chapter 4736. After a long time, Huamin raised his head and looked at the sky. Tonight's moon, don't interrupt. These 3 words blocked Huamin's mouth. Huamin, answer me. Are you here to extort a confession? Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. No, I just want to hear you say something from your heart. Mian, if you like me, tell me. Let me know that the person I like also likes me. If you don't like me, tell me too. In the future, I won't make things difficult for you. Qin Shu spoke very seriously. He probably wanted to use this opportunity to ask her properly. After all, in school, there were many people and opportunities were limited. And Huamin was the kind of person who could change the topic. So now, on Yunding Mountain, beside the colorful fountain at the entrance of the hotel, the 2 of them sat side by side. Using today's scene, Qin Shu wanted to make things clear. No matter what he said before, she was his girlfriend. The little girl seemed to be deliberately avoiding it and didn't admit it. She made it seem like it was one-sided. Because of this, he was even mocked by Gao Ran for not being able to get a straight-A student. He knew very well that he wasn't chasing after Huamin for his face, nor was it because she was a straight-A student. He wasn't interested in a straight-A student. What he was interested in was Huamin herself. Therefore, Qin Shu, who had been wrong for so long, finally found a good opportunity. Qin Shu, this is too sudden, not at all. But how old are we? We're all teenagers. What do we know? That's why I didn't say love. I said like. Qin Shu explained. There was silence again. This time, the silence was longer. About 10 seconds. Qin Shu seemed to be a little desperate. This time, he was risking it all. If he forced Huamin into a corner, she might shrink back and not dare to face the feelings between them. If that was the case, all the previous efforts would have been for naught. But it was worth it. Qin Shu wanted a word from Huamin, a word of recognition for himself. Finally, after a long silence, Huamin said slowly, Qin Shu, I like you. These words immediately pulled Qin Shu back from the brink of despair. He was wild with joy, unable to control herself. She grabbed Huamin's hand and held it tightly, as if she would never let go for the rest of her life. Huamin was incomparably conflicted. She did give Qin Shu this answer after careful consideration. Qin Shu was right. They had to follow their hearts and speak their truest feelings. If you like him, you like him. Why would there be so many additional conditions? However, looking at Qin Shu holding his hand, Huamin was still conflicted. Qin Shu, but I think we're from 2 different worlds. Don't talk nonsense. Don't say things like we're not compatible. I've never believed in those old-fashioned things. Qin Shu thought she was going to talk about the difference between the 2 families. Therefore, before Huamin could finish, he hurriedly retorted. He had set his mind on her, and this was a fact that no one could change. To his surprise, Huamin shook his head. Family background isn't the most important thing. I just think that in your world, I'm too far away. Too far away? What do you mean? For example? Qin Shu still didn't let go of his hand. For example, the education you received since you were young, your personality, your upbringing, your interests, your preferences. Huamin knew that this was the difference between people. It wasn't something that could be explained in a few words. Chapter 4737. Although it was always said that family background was not the difference between 2 people who loved each other. However, Huamin remembered that there was a distant cousin who married a rich second-generation heir. That cousin was naturally very good-looking. She was originally a luxury item in the mall, but a rich second-generation heir took a fancy to her. He pursued her relentlessly. Children from poor families couldn't resist the temptation of money. You clearly didn't particularly like this person, But once you were bombarded with material things, no one could resist. Imagine a person who didn't even dare to go to a gold shop, but a man took her to sell diamonds and jewelry. Watches that cost tens of thousands of yuan, top-notch phones, and branded bags. The feeling of spending money like water was irresistible, especially children from poor families. It was as if the door to a new world had opened. At that time, she remembered that her cousin's marriage had alarmed the entire family. Huomin's mother brought her, Jixin, and Uncle Jing back to their hometown to attend the wedding. There were 70 to 80 luxury cars picking up the bride. People from nearby villages came to watch. It was like an ancient crown prince choosing a concubine. She heard that the wedding gift was also 1,000,000 yuan. Gold, jewelry, and the like were all carried in boxes. At that time, Huomin was only 10 years old, and she was very envious. Looking at her cousin happily marrying over, she thought to herself, this should be happiness, right? She didn't expect that in less than 3 years, after her cousin gave birth to 2 daughters, she was neglected by her in-laws. After less than a year of marriage, when her cousin was pregnant, that rich second-generation heir cheated on her. And there was more than one person who cheated on her. Later on, her cousin washed her face with tears every day. She heard that they finally divorced last year. She took her 2 daughters and left with nothing. That family only gave her a pitiful amount of living expenses every month. And the mistress who entered the house was said to be a somewhat famous female celebrity in the entertainment industry. That female celebrity was pregnant and had a wedding with a rich second-generation heir in Bali. Then, she gave birth to a son and lived a life of glory. But who would have thought that her cousin also lived a life of glory at that wedding? From then on, Huomin felt that women should rely on themselves. Therefore, she had to study hard and find a good way out for herself. It was useless to just marry well, because as soon as a man had a change of heart, he would immediately beat you back to your original state, and you will spend the rest of your life in fear. Huomin's mind might have matured earlier than his peers. Therefore, she had a lot of ideas. Qin Shu's family could only be said to be better than the family that her cousin had married into. After all, she often saw Qin Shu's father with the city leaders on the finance channel. That might not be a place she could stay. That was why Huomin said those words just now. On the other hand, Qin Shu was extremely calm after hearing her words. Did you just ask about my preferences? Qin Shu repeated. Huomin did not say anything. My preference is you. Qin Shu said these words clearly. At that time, high school students were not so scheming. They were more sincere. Although they didn't know what a lifetime was, they still wanted to be with the girl they liked forever. Qin Shu's words shocked Huomin. Once I've decided on you, I won't change. I only have one characteristic. No matter what, I'll be faithful to you. Mian, this isn't a joke. This isn't an irresponsible promise that I made when I was young. I'll be responsible for my own choice. What I need now is your response. Huomin stared into Qin Shu's eyes. She saw that they were filled with love. Chapter 4738. Qin Shu, although I like you, I don't think I can give you anything. I really don't have anything. I can't even dig out my greatest IQ and get it to you. So, if you choose me, you really won't get anything out of it. This was where every girl who came from a poor family felt inferior. Liking someone wasn't asking for anything, it was giving. So, Huomin thought pessimistically that she really didn't have anything to give Qin Shu because he really didn't need anything. Qin Shu turned around, raised his hands, and cupped Huomin's tender little face. Mian, all I want is you. That's all. So, you don't have to give me anything. Huomin blushed again. We're both too young. You better not have any evil thoughts. I will never agree. Huomin lowered her head. Indeed, she had misunderstood. Although she didn't know what was going on, she still warned Qin Shu. Qin Shu's face darkened. You're thinking too much. What I mean is, you have to give me a definite answer so that I can protect you and stay by your side for the next 3 years. I'm an impatient person and can't have a crush on you. I just want to be honest. If you agree, I'll take good care of you. I believe I won't let you down. Huomin took a deep breath and bit her lip, although she knew it wasn't good for her to fall in love at such a young age. However, she thought that at this moment, no one would be able to resist Qin Chu's temptation. No one would be able to, especially on a romantic mountain peak like this. With a colorful fountain in front of them, the atmosphere was great. It was the perfect time for a confession. She had to admit that Mr. Qin's thoughts had been so meticulous since he was young. He hit the nail on the head, and hit Hua means Ironheart. Qin Chu, I'm willing to be with you for the next 3 years. If there's anything I don't do well, please advise me. Huomin tilted her head and looked at him with a sweet smile. That was the sweetness of a teenage girl. It was not pretentious or hypocritical. Huomin's smile melted Qin Chu's heart. He almost couldn't control himself and wanted to kiss her cheek, but he still tried his best to restrain himself, because he was afraid of scaring her. Qin Chu suppressed the excitement in his heart and took out his mobile phone to send a text message. Who are you texting? Huomin was curious. Qin Chu smiled mysteriously and said nothing. But at this moment, there was a bang. Huomin was startled. She raised her head and looked at the fireworks in the sky in astonishment. Then, the fireworks show officially began. This was prepared by Qin Chu's men in advance. They would set off the fireworks once they received the order. Qin Chu was planning to give Huomin an unforgettable fireworks show regardless of whether she agreed or not. It was Huomin's first time seeing such a grand fireworks show, and it was just for her. Her shock turned to surprise, and then her girlish heart was hooked. She couldn't help but stand up and clap her hands. Sometimes, she would excitedly tug on Qin Chu's sleeve. Hey, hurry up. This is heart-shaped. It's so beautiful. Qin Chu didn't say anything. He just looked at her and smiled gently. The fireworks show lasted for half an hour. There were all kinds of fireworks, some together, some alone, and there were all kinds. Oh my God, how much did this cost? Huomin exclaimed. Sure enough, the rich life was full of different things. No wonder so many people couldn't resist the temptation of money. She liked it too, really. Not much, about 100,000, Qin Chu said faintly. Chapter 4739. More than 100,000? Huomin was dumbfounded. That's enough for her to finish her master's degree. But in just half an hour, it disappeared in the blink of an eye. What a pity. If I knew it was so expensive, I wouldn't have let you use it. Huomin's heart ached. Even if it wasn't her own money, it still hurt. Qin Chu was extremely calm. Some beautiful things exist in the memory. This memory can't be bought with money. Huomin looked at him and sighed slightly. Okay, you're good looking. You call the shots. Qin Chu looked up dotingly and patted her head. Let's go back. It's a little windy. Huomin nodded and the two of them walked back. Their rooms were on the 19th floor. It was a suite with 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. However, each room had its own bathroom and bathroom. So, it wasn't considered flirtatious. The main thing was that Qin Chu didn't feel comfortable getting 2 rooms with Huomin. He was afraid that the distance would make her scared. To be honest, Huomin was quite satisfied with this arrangement. After returning to their rooms, they each took a shower and went to their own beds. Before closing the door, Qin Chu even reminded Huomin to lock the door. Huomin even joked, "You still dare to come in?" Qin Chu rolled his eyes at her and left without saying anything. Huomin smirked smugly. It felt good to talk back to Qin Chu. She now understood why Zhu Lingling always talked back to Gao Ran. It seemed that it wasn't unreasonable. They locked the door and returned to the big, soft bed. Huomin wore a bathrobe and felt more relaxed than ever. If it wasn't for Qin Chu's invitation, she wouldn't have come here even if she was beaten to death. When she was at the front desk, she stole a glance at the price tag behind it. The cheapest room cost 799 yuan a night. As for their luxurious 2-bedroom apartment, it was said that it cost 19,800 yuan a night. She didn't dare to imagine that 2,000 yuan would be gone just from a simple night's sleep. What kind of concept was this? 10 years ago, 2,000 yuan was a lot. 80% of the people in Sea City had a monthly salary of 1,500 yuan. Huomin sighed slightly. After agreeing to Qin Chu, Did she have to continue freeloading off him? Then, would others think that she was after Chin Chu's money? Then the question was she after Chin Chu's family's money or not? If Chin Chu's family's lives would have been a days. The more she thought about it, the more confused she became. Moreover, for a teenager, this was the biggest worry of growing up and also the first hurdle of youth. Just as she was about to fall asleep, her phone suddenly rang. A text message. She rubbing her eyes. It was from Chin Chu. He asked, "Are you asleep?" Huamin replied, "I'm preparing." Chin Chu, "Do you want to eat and bully me?" His typing speed was unbelievably fast. Huamian's message had only been sent for a few seconds before his reply arrived. Huamin, no. If you eat and bully me now, you'll be as fat as a pig. Chin Chu, it's okay. I'll like you even if you're as fat as a pig. Huamin, I don't believe you. All men like to lie. What if I'm as fat as a pig and you run away? Who am I going to complain to? Chin Chu, do you want to drink something? There are many kinds of drinks in the small fridge under the table. You can choose. Huamin, okay. Chin Chu then. Good night. See you tomorrow. Huamin, okay. Good night. That night, Huamin slept very well. After all, the bed at home was not as comfortable as this. It was said that the mattresses here were over 10,000 yuan. The pillows were also very comfortable. Huamin slept with one pillow and the other one in her arms. She was very carefree. Chin Chu, on the other hand, was in trouble. He couldn't sleep and didn't fall asleep until 3 in the morning. This was the first time he was so close to Huamin. He was a little excited when he thought about how they were only 10 meters apart. He tossed and turned, but still couldn't fall asleep. He took out his phone and called Gao Ran. Chapter 4740. After a while, Gao Ran picked up. He sounded sleepy. "Hello, what are you doing?" "I'm sleeping." "Don't sleep. Get up. Get up." Gao Ran was about to hang up. "I'm with Huamin." Chin Chu purposely showed off. His words immediately woke Gao Ran up. He looked at his watch. It was almost 10 p.m. What did he want to do with Huamin at this time? Fuck, are you serious? Of course. Chin Chu continued to show off. "Are you guys drinking outside? Why aren't you home?" "No, we're at a hotel." Fuck. Don't lie to me." "No, it's true. You're such a beast. It's only been a few days, and you've already brought her to a hotel." Chin Chu, but then again, isn't it exciting? Ha! Teach me a lesson. Gao Ran smiled wretchedly. "You're so dirty. We didn't do anything. Even a dog wouldn't believe it." Chin Chu, "Which hotel are you at? Do you want me to go find you later?" Gao Ran purposely teased him. "You can come too. Yending Mountain Resort. If you take a taxi now, it's still dark." Fuck, you're playing with me. Upon hearing that it was a hotel on Yending Mountain, Gao Ran withered. It was too far, and the highway was 3 hours away. There was no way he could go there. Ha ha, Chin Chu chuckled. He had achieved his goal of showing off. Gao Ran felt like his lungs were hurting from all the public displays of affection in front of him. "You're so cruel. I can't believe you didn't bring me there. I don't want to be a light bulb." "Good, you're ruthless. You're my good brother. You're my good brother." Gao Ran was furious. "You should have gone on a field trip with us." Zhu Lingling went. "There are 4 other guys in our class who like her. I think they'll make a move this time." Chin Chu said lightly. "What does it have to do with me?" "That bitch. It would be strange if someone likes her." Gao Ran disagreed. "Keep being stubborn. TSK. Why would I be stubborn? That woman is my natural nemesis. I'll stay away from her in the future." "All right, I'll remember what you said. Next time we eat, don't ever let you meet her." "Ahem. Bro, that's not right. You're like, your love is lit up, and as soon as there's a flame on my side, you turn around and piss on it to extinguish it. You said it yourself. Don't hit my face." Before Gao Ran could say anything, Chin Chu hung up the phone. A beeping sound came from the other side of the phone. Gao Ran was so angry that he was awake and didn't feel sleepy anymore. This guy only cares about himself. He doesn't care about me. We agreed to be single dogs together. How could you fucking cheat on me? The next morning, Huamian woke up early in the morning before the sun rose. This was her habit. Since she was clear-headed in the morning, she took out an English book from her bag and read for a while. Then, she heard some movement in Qin Shu's room. She quickly got out of bed and opened the door. Then, she saw Qin Shu in his pajamas. His hair was messy, and his eyes were blurry. This homely side of him was so cute that it exploded. This was the first time she saw Qin Shu in such a homely state. The contrast was huge, and it was so cute. What are you looking at? Are you in love with me? Qin Shu was still sleepwalking, so he directly retorted. Looks like you haven't woken up yet. Huamian teased. Quick, come over and kiss me, then I'll wake up. Otherwise, I think I'll turn into a frog, Qin Shu said drowsily. Chapter 47-41. Huamian glared at him angrily with her hands on her hips. Qin Shu, do you still want your old face? If you want to kiss me, I can be shameless. But I want to... Huamian ignored him and turned around to continue washing up. She was very fast at washing up and was almost done at the same time as Qin Shu. Then, they met in the living room. Let's go and have breakfast. Qin Shu naturally held her little hand and pulled her out. That's not good. We'll be seen. Who knows you here? They all know me, and I'm not afraid of being seen. Huamian didn't say anything, but she thought it made sense. Do you think we'll be on the cover of a gossip magazine? You're thinking too much, Miss Hua. You're just a kid. You're not even fully grown yet. The people on the cover are all celebrities and models. Can I think about it? Huamian pouted and followed Qin Shu. She lazily let him hold her hand, and they went to the restaurant on the top floor. Because Huamian didn't like special treatment, Qin Shu didn't specifically say anything. The two of them went early, so there weren't many people in the breakfast room. It was another sumptuous buffet. Huamian took a tray of dumplings. They were emperor shrimp dumplings. She had only eaten this once. It was when Zhu Lingling and her parents went to a Hong Kong-style restaurant to eat and brought it back. It was really delicious, but she heard that each dumpling cost 20 yuan. A tray of 4 dumplings cost 80 yuan. She really couldn't afford it. So, since they met here, Huamian decided to eat until she was full. Qin Shu also took his favorite. The two of them lowered their heads and ate in silence. Qin Shu, yeah? I also want emperor shrimp dumplings. Then let's eat. Then, will you despise me? I'm just a kid from a poor family who hasn't seen the world. Once I see something good, I lose my life to eat it, Huamian asked straightforwardly. However, Qin Shu was slightly startled. Why would you have such a strange idea? I like to eat until I'm full. Then I'm relieved. Just as Huamian was about to stand up, he realized that Qin Shu had already left, heading in the direction of the emperor prawn dumplings. Not long after, Qin Shu returned with 3 full trays in his hands. Heavens, what are you doing? It's fine. Eat until you have enough. Do you want one? Huamian felt warm in his heart. So far, she was quite satisfied with her boyfriend. If you feed me, I can eat one. Shameless. It's not like your hand is broken. Eat yourself. Huamian chuckled as he lowered his head and picked up a royal prawn dumpling. Just as he was about to eat it, Qin Shu snatched it away. Qin Shu didn't say anything and just put it in his mouth. Aren't there a lot more? Why don't you pick it up yourself? Why do you have to snatch mine? Huamian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Because the one on your plate smells better, Qin Shu said seriously. Huamian blushed again. He really couldn't believe that the person in front of him was Qin Shu. Huamian noticed that Hua Xiqian rarely talked to any girl in class, except for herself. He heard that when he was in junior high, he was also so cold that it scared people. Otherwise, why would he talk so little to Lu Xing, even though they were classmates for 3 years? Qin Shu was definitely a weirdo, but that didn't matter. He was also a weirdo among weirdos. If the two weirdos got together, their child would also be the weirdest in history. Realizing that he was thinking too far ahead, Huamian quickly pulled himself back to reality. Mian, yeah? Do you think Gao Ran is interested in Zhu Lingling? Qin Shu asked slowly. Chapter 4742. Yes, very much so, absolutely. Huamin smiled slightly. But they don't seem to want to admit it. They're both as stubborn as ducks. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for them to admit it. Huamin replied as she stirred the seafood porridge. Do you think they're a good match? Qin Chu asked slowly. It's okay. As long as they like each other, they're a good match. Why are you so rational when it comes to other people? When I confessed yesterday, you gave me a bunch of excuses. You even said something about two different worlds. Faced with Qin Chu's question, Huamin burst into laughter. Do you have to be so vengeful? I'm a very vengeful person, but I could be more lenient with my girlfriends, then I'll thank you. Huamin continued to giggle foolishly. You're welcome. After the two leisurely finished their breakfast, Qin Chu ordered the waiter to bring 2 sets of sportswear and a pair of sneakers. They were all Nike. Qin Chu liked to play basketball and was a loyal fan of Nike. At that time, Nike spokesperson was Kobe Bryant, the star that Qin Chu admired the most. One set was dark, and the other was light yellow. They both looked good. They were neither thin nor thick, just right for the temperature on the mountain. Although there were hotels built on Yunding Mountain, the mountain range was very big. At that time, there were no hot springs or pickling gardens, and the steps to the mountain weren't trimmed yet. Therefore, it was a semi-developed mountain range. Huamin liked to climb mountains. At that time, she was young and had an inexhaustible amount of energy. She and Jixin even went to the small hills in the city excitedly. Therefore, when she heard that Qin Chu was going to take her to climb mountains, Huamin was very excited. However, she didn't expect Qin Chu to prepare 2 sets of clothes and shoes. Although the shoes given by Qin Chu weren't as expensive as Huasiqian's, they suited Huamin's personality. She didn't want any limited edition shoes. Shoes were meant to be worn on her feet, not used to show off. You bought them according to my size? Well, do you think it's suitable? Qin Chu helped her remove her shoelaces. Huamin happily sat on the chair. Huamin's pale yellow sportswear made him look even fairer. The white sports shoes were just right. Even the Nike logo was white. If one did not look closely, one would not be able to see it clearly. Huamin liked it from the bottom of his heart. He even deliberately turned around in front of the mirror a few times. She was completely unaware that Qin Chu had taken out his phone to take pictures. However, I heard that it's not good for a boyfriend to give his girlfriend shoes. She'll fly away and break up with him, Huamin said. Qin Chu's face darkened. Are you a jinx? Haha, it's true. This legend has been around for a long time. Everyone in our neighborhood knows about it. Are you from ancient times? Qin Chu looked at her with disdain. How about this? I definitely don't have money for the sportswear, but I'll give you the money for the shoes. Consider it as me buying them myself. She thought that Qin Chu would refuse, but he happily agreed. That's fine. How much are the shoes? 89. Nonsense. How can they be 89? Speak properly. They're really 89. They should be high-quality replicas. You can wear replicas? Huamin was in disbelief. Why can't I wear replicas? They're 89. Okay. But 89 doesn't seem to be enough for me right now. When we get back, I'll give you some pocket money, Huamin said. Okay. Huamin was quite happy that Qin Chu was willing to accept the money. Although he was her boyfriend, she was not a materialistic person. She did not want to rely on his title as her boyfriend to constantly ask for things from Qin Chu. That would be really shameful. She definitely did not believe that Qin Chu would say that the shoes were high-quality replicas. Therefore, she planned to go back to the city and find a Nike store to ask how much they were. Chapter 4743. It's beautiful, let's go. After changing, Qin Chu and Huamin carried a black backpack. The backpack was filled with water and lunches for the two of them, and they set off. Huamin felt embarrassed and offered to carry Qin Chu's backpack for a while, but Qin Chu didn't want to. The two of them set off in high spirits. Before they left, the hotel manager reminded them worriedly, "Young master, it'll be fine after walking for a while. Don't go too deep. There are a lot of undeveloped areas, and the mountain path is very steep." Okay, Qin Chu nodded. Will there be wild beasts? No. After we bought Yunding Mountain, we surrounded it. Although there are a lot of undeveloped areas, wild beasts can't get in. Occasionally, some black snakes will appear in this mountain range, and they're not poisonous. However, the chances of you running into them are low. Snakes like to hide under big rocks and in wet places. That's good, that's good. Huamin patted his chest. The hotel manager was worried that Qin Shu's phone would run out of battery, and they wouldn't be able to contact him. So he prepared a signal transmitter. As long as Qin Shu sent a signal, they would be able to see his location and go to his rescue. After all, he was the son of the chairman. If something happened to him here, it would be troublesome. Qin Shu didn't refuse and put them in his backpack. Then, he held Huamin's hand, and the two of them climbed up the mountain. It had to be said that teenagers sometimes had better stamina than adults. The two of them climbed for 40 minutes in one go without stopping for a rest. At the top of the mountain, GK built a viewing pavilion for the view. It was built in an ancient Chinese style, similar to the ones in Suzhou. It's beautiful here. Let's look at it for a while, Huamin said to Qin Shu as he pointed at the endless mountains in the distance. Okay. Qin Shu took off his backpack, took out a bottle of water, and handed it to Huamin. Then, he took out a piece of chocolate. Replenish your energy. You're so thoughtful, Huamin praised. Right? That's why being my wife is a great deal. Huamin blushed and turned his head away, pretending not to hear. Huamin looked at the scenery in the distance and suddenly felt emotional. Qin Shu. You say now, I finally understand why the ancient emperors fought to the death to seize this vast territory. Why? Because the feeling of having the world under my feet is really great. Haha. Qin Shu. Huamin, are you serious? Of course, but I think you should sing me a song in this situation. That would make it even more beautiful. What song? Qin Shu wanted to take the opportunity to show off in front of his girlfriend. Huamin cleared his throat. I'll borrow another 500 years from the heavens. Qin Shu was speechless. Goodbye. After saying that, Qin Shu pretended to walk down. Huamin quickly ran over and grabbed his hand. Don't go. If you leave me behind, I'll be eaten by wolves. Your naughty girlfriend should be eaten by wolves, Qin Shu said quietly. No, don't go. Qin Shu couldn't help but laugh. Then beg me. Please, handsome, I beg you, my idol. Huamian had a time when she was so shameless. Qin Shu smiled. Beg me for what? He thought Huamian would say something mushy like, please stay with me, or something like that. But he didn't expect this guy to say, confidently, please sing for me. I'll borrow another 500 years from the heavens. Qin Shu was speechless. Ah! Huamin laughed hysterically. Go ahead and have fun. Qin Shu felt that many people thought that Huamin was reserved and deep, but they were all fooled by her appearance. He had seen how naughty she was with his own eyes. Chapter 4744. However, even if it was a prank, Qin Shu still didn't blame him. However, Qin Shu didn't sing. Instead, he took out his phone and downloaded a song. Then, the two of them put on their headphones and looked at the scenery at the foot of the mountain while listening to the song. It could be considered as fulfilling Huamin's wish. Then, the two of them continued to climb the mountain and walk down from the other side of the mountain range. There was only a relatively dirt road here, and it was steeper than the previous one. However, these children were extremely willful and wanted to challenge their limits. It had to be said that the temperature on the mountain was much lower than the temperature at the foot of the mountain. Therefore, the two of them were right to wear sportswear. At least they would keep warm. After walking for more than an hour, Huamin was exhausted. No, I'm so hungry. Qin Shu, I want to eat. Huamin wanted to eat. Qin Shu didn't say anything. He found a quiet spot and took out the tablecloth and food he brought from the hotel from his backpack. Huamin thought that it would be ham, bread, and other dry food. However, she was wrong. She probably didn't know how exquisite Qin Shu was. Qin Shu took out 2 orange lunchboxes. Huamin couldn't wait to pick up one of the lunchboxes. When she opened it, her jaw dropped. It was a very beautiful lunchbox. There were 2 tuna rice balls, a simple one, a fried chicken leg, and a few pieces of broccoli. The The color combination was also very beautiful. Just looking at it made one's appetite soar. Then, Qin Shu took out 2 bottles of mineral water and placed one beside Huamin. If you think that's the end, you're wrong. Then, Qin Shu took out 2 more lunchboxes. They were filled with fruit, cut fruit. There were cantaloupe, pineapple, peach, banana slices, and a few red cherry tomatoes mixed in. Wow, so thoughtful. Huamin was pleasantly surprised. Not only was there such an exquisite lunchbox, there were even fruits. She glanced at Qin Shu's backpack. No wonder he was carrying such a big backpack. It turned out that there were so many things inside. Ha! This shouldn't be called a backpack. It should be called a treasure chest. Qin Shu was speechless. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and eat. Huamin picked up his lunchbox and started to eat. From time to time, she would naughtily snatch Qin Shu's food. Qin Shu didn't say anything and let her do as she pleased. Today's mood is really great. If only I had a can of beer. How old are you? Why are you drinking beer? Qin Shu lectured him in the tone of an elder. So what if I'm young? Uncle Jing used to buy me fruit wine during the spring festival. It was delicious and exciting. Your elders really spoil you. Qin Shu glanced at her. Of course, my mom and Uncle Jing are actually very nice. What about the whole family? Qin Shu didn't know why he suddenly asked. Huamin was slightly surprised. If you don't feel good, it's okay if you don't want to tell me. After asking, Qin Shu regretted it. He really didn't mean to. Don't be so pretentious. It was a big deal back then, and it's no secret. The old man of the whole family didn't treat me well. I don't have any feelings for the whole family. It's like I don't know them at all, except for Hua Xiqian, who seems to be a little bit nice to me. Upon hearing Hua Xiqian's name, Qin Shu's expression became complicated. From now on, stay away from Hua Xiqian. What's wrong? You know him too? Huamin asked. It seemed like there was a story behind it. Chapter 47-45. I don't really know him, but I've heard a little about him. Wow, you have Hua Xiqian gossip? Hurry up and tell me, so I can threaten him in the future, so that he won't always come to me to feel superior. Huamin seemed to be very interested in gossip, but unfortunately, Qin Shu refused to tell him. I'm not someone who likes to talk about people behind their backs. Anyway, you should avoid interacting with him in the future. Qin Shu picked up the mineral water and drank elegantly. Seeing that Qin Shu didn't want to talk, Huamin didn't ask. In fact, they lived in the same city. As a rich second-generation heir, Qin Shu definitely knew about Hua Xiqian's background. Hua Xiqian was very promiscuous in university. He often brought all kinds of girls to hotels and had a good time. He heard that a freshman girl was pregnant a while ago. That girl naively thought that she could marry into the Hua family because of her son. Hua Xiqian initially planned to give her money to keep her mouth shut and get her to abort the child herself. However, the girl was stubborn and refused no matter what. She insisted on marrying Hua Xiqian. Then, he heard that they were in a car accident last month and both mother and child died. Of course, this might not have been done by Hua Xiqian, but by the Hua family. After all, Hua Xiqian's adoptive mother wasn't someone to be trifled with. However, no matter what, he didn't want Huamin to be entangled with Huamin. Every member of the Hua family was ambitious, and their methods were so despicable that it made people's hair stand on end. A few days ago, the Hua family even came forward to cooperate with GK. Qin Shu's father wanted to consider it, but his son suddenly said that he didn't want to cooperate with the Hua family. In the end, the old man rejected it for the sake of his precious son. Of course, Qin Shu's father didn't know that his son had a problem with the Hua family. It was all because his girlfriend had been wronged by the Huamin. Qin Shu wouldn't tell Huamin about this. He would only do it silently. Did you just say you want to drink beer? Qin Shu suddenly asked her. Ah, that's right. It would be great if there was wine at this time. Huamin was also exhausted and wanted to drink something to relieve his tiredness. That kind of metal packaging really didn't have a very high alcohol content. She wouldn't have a problem drinking one. Initially, he thought that it would only be for show. Unexpectedly, Qin Shu quietly took out a can of old five-star beer from his backpack. Holy shit, that works too. Qin Shu did not say anything. He helped Hua Min open the tab. How about I call you Doraemon in the future, and you call me Big Bear? Hua Min held the beer and was extremely excited. Don't talk nonsense. Drink less. If you drink too much, it will get to your head. It's okay. If I drink too much, you can carry me down. I won't. I'll only leave you in the mountains to feed the wolves. Qin Shu lowered his head and said quietly, You're stubborn. Hua Min silently watched Qin Shu pretend to be cool. She was starting to understand his routine. Qin Shu seemed to be very soft-hearted towards her. If she said that she wanted to go up to the sky, he would buy her a ladder. Hua Min took the beer and took a big gulp. He even used his sleeve to rudely wipe his mouth. You didn't buy the clothes yourself. Don't you care about them? Qin Shu said unhappily. Hua Min smiled and asked him with the beer, Hey, do you want a sip? No. Qin Shu decisively refused. Have a sip. It's delicious. Hua Min continued to coax him. Qin Shu glanced at the beer that Hua Min drank from. It looked like there were still lipstick marks on it, even though she never wore any lipstick. Qin Shu did not say anything. He took the beer and took a sip. This was considered a compromise, right? Suddenly, Hua Min screamed and held her stomach. Her expression was pained. Qin Shu was so scared that he immediately put down the beer and went up to help her. What's wrong? Chapter 47-46. At this moment, Qin Shu was so scared that his face changed color. He thought that Hua Min was having an emergency. Qin Shu, I think. I'm on my period, Hua Min said awkwardly. Qin Shu's body trembled. He had never encountered a situation like this, even though he knew that girls had their periods every month. However, as a man, Qin Shu never thought that he would encounter such an awkward situation so soon. Then what do I need to do? You? I don't think you can help much. I need to go down the mountain to buy something. Hua Min was too embarrassed to say the words tampons out loud. Qin Shu was also confused when he heard this. You can't even remember the date? She knows her period is coming, but she's still drinking beer. Qin Shu suddenly regretted his soft-heartedness. He shouldn't have gotten her a beer. He heard that girls shouldn't touch cold things during their periods. When he was young, he saw his mother drinking brown sugar ginger tea and bird's nest soup every month. Qin Shu felt guilty and blamed himself when he thought about how he had just given the girl a beer. Hua Min laughed. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but it probably smelled the alcohol today and came early. You're still in the mood to joke around? Qin Shu glared at her. He stood up, took off his jacket, and carefully tied it around Hua Min's waist. It covered her thighs, keeping her warm and not letting her catch a cold. Also, it covered the blood that Hua Min accidentally got on her pants. Hua Min's heart was warmed by Qin Shu's care. Qin Shu, thank you. You're welcome. After all, we're on the same side. Qin Shu said naturally. Then, before Hua Min could say anything else, he picked her up and carried her on his back. Hua Min was so scared that she almost screamed, I can walk by myself. I can. Qin Shu didn't say anything. He carried his backpack with one hand and carried Hua Min with the other. He was afraid that she would fall. The mountain path is too steep. You're in danger. Qin Shu still didn't react. Qin Shu, if you carry me like this, your stamina will be depleted. You won't be able to hold on. Qin Shu still did not say anything. Qin Shu, be quiet. We'll talk when we get down the mountain. The good thing was that Qin Shu had excellent stamina. As the only heir of GK, Qin Shu had been practicing all kinds of self-defense since he was young and worked out every day. Therefore, when they were 17 or 18 years old, their physical fitness was better than some adults. Although carrying Hua Min down the mountain was a big task, he was obsessed with it. Therefore, in the end, Qin Shu carried Hua Min down the mountain. Because he sent a signal in advance, there was already a car waiting for them at the foot of the mountain. Young master, why didn't you let us go up the mountain to pick you up? Seeing his young master carry a lump of meat down the mountain, the hotel manager's heart ached. He was afraid that if anything happened to Qin Shu, the president would blame him. You guys are wasting too much time, Chin-Chu said faintly. The hotel staff immediately handed a towel to Chin-Chu to wipe his sweat. Huamin didn't say anything, but she was very upset. She even wanted to cry. They were going to go to the hospital, but Huamin insisted. It was just menstrual cramps. It wasn't a big deal. In the end, Chin-Chu agreed to let her go back to the hotel to rest. After the two returned to the hotel, Huamin quickly took a hot shower and changed into a clean bathrobe. When she came out of the living room, she saw brown sugar, bird's nest, and motherwort on the table. Huamin looked at the 3 tonics and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How can I finish all this? I'll be satisfied with some ginger tea. Drink it all, Chin-Chu ordered. Chapter 4747. No, Huamin refused immediately. Why? Motherwort tastes awful. How about I drink the bird's nest, and you drink the motherwort for me? Huamin purposely put him in a difficult position. Okay, Chin-Chu said as he picked up the motherwort and was about to drink it. Huamin was so scared that he quickly snatched it away. You're a man. Don't you have menstrual cramps? Why are you drinking this? You're really drunk. Can you finish it? Chin-Chu looked up with pity in his eyes. Yes. Huamin gritted his teeth and only said one word. Then, under Chin-Chu's gaze, he finished all 3 big bowls. Chin-Chu, will I die from the poison? Huamin half-joked as he drank the 3 bowls in a mess. I'll burn ingots for you on Qingming. Fuck. Chin-Chu, you idiot. This was the first time Huamin heard him make such a cold joke. For a moment, he couldn't control himself and rushed over to hit him. He thought that he would dodge, but this guy didn't move like a block of wood. Therefore, when the fist landed, Huamin's heart softened and he lessened his strength. His originally powerful punch had turned into cotton. How was this hitting? This was flirting with this tearing. The collar of Huamin's bathrobe opened. Huamin was only 15 years old and had a body full of ribs. But still, it made Chin-Chu's throat heat up. They were still in an ignorant era. They didn't know what kind of realm the fusion of the body was. Chin-Chu quickly turned his head away, not daring to look. Huamin also stood up awkwardly and quickly tightened his clothes. At this time, Chin-Chu brought over a very big box. It was golden and very beautiful. This is the dress I prepared for you. It's not like I don't have any clothes to wear. I can wear the one I wore when I came here. I've already washed it. Huamin was too embarrassed to ask for another gift from Chin-Chu. Ever since she came here, she had been eating a big meal, looking at the fountain, and getting her sportswear and shoes. She felt that she had taken advantage of a lot. Just wear it. If the other one gets dirty, you can still change into it. Huamin silently took it and opened it. Fortunately, Chin-Chu knew her better. The gift was not a dazzling golden gown, nor was it an eye-catching dress. Inside, there was only a simple dress with a white top and a black bottom. It was a 2-piece set and was worn separately. It was very similar to the fairy-like clothing from Yunnan. There were a few embroidered flowers on the hem of the skirt. It was not ostentatious, but it was very attractive. It's really beautiful. You chose it. I don't know about these things. I just picked them out from the hotel's clothing store. Just make do with them. Chin-Chu didn't want to be seen through by Huamin, so he didn't seem to care. This way, Huamin would feel even less burdened. All right, this is for you. Chin-Chu picked up a big black bag from the ground. Huamin looked at the black bag and seemed to have guessed what was inside. She opened it and took a look. There were all kinds of brands of sanitary pads. There were long and short ones, big and small ones, thin and thick ones. It actually had everything. She thought to herself, as expected of a rich person. He really bought piles of things. What a pity. I thought I could go swimming with you after we leave the mountain. Now I can't do anything. If you want to swim, then go. I can ask them to warm it up, Chin-Chu said. Aren't you afraid that I'll dye half the sky red? Huamin giggled. She was deliberately teasing Chin-Chu. As long as you're not afraid of attracting crocodiles, I'm okay with it. Huamin. Chapter 4748. Bastard. You actually want to feed me to the crocodiles. Although Huamin was displeased, she knew that Qin Chu cared about her. After drinking all kinds of tonics, they put on warm clothes. Qin Chu brought Huamin downstairs and walked around the hotel. This hotel was extremely luxurious in that era. Huamin suddenly felt that being rich was really good. At least she could live the life she wanted and not sigh helplessly. She also knew that if she was willing to return to the Hua family, she would probably live a luxurious life. But the problem was, what was the use of living a luxurious life in front of those annoying people? In front of the Hua family, even eating crabs would feel like eating dirt, right? If she was at home, even if she ate wild vegetables with her mother and Jixin, she would still feel endlessly happy. So, life was that simple. As long as you were happy, you didn't have to care about what others thought. Finally, the two of them strolled to the tea room. There were no guests. A beautiful tea artist in a cheongsam was tidying up the tea set. When she saw Qin Chu, she was first stunned. Then, she quickly stood up and greeted, "Young master, sit down." Qin Chu, on the other hand, was calm. He turned around and asked Huamin, "Do you like tea?" Sure. I don't know how to taste it. I only know how to drink." Huamin giggled. "Come here." Huamin's voice was very soft. He really didn't want to be too loud for Huamin. The tea artist looked at the young man and woman enviously. She smiled and didn't say anything. "Please make us a pot of tea." "Okay. What do you like to drink, young master?" Qin Chu looked at Huamin. Huamin had never drunk any good tea. She heard that it cost a few thousand yuan per caddy. However, since Qin Chu asked her, she couldn't say that she didn't know. So Huamin cleared his throat and said, "Westlake, Longjing. I also like to drink green tea. Give us a pot of Longjing tea." Qin Chu said, "Yes, young master. Please wait a moment." After that, the pretty big sister started to get busy. The two of them quietly looked at the tea master's craft. It turned out that there was so much cultural heritage behind the way of tea. It seemed that picking up a teacup and drinking it in one gulp was not called drinking tea. It was more like drinking water. It was said that they had been given a pot of top-grade Longjing tea that was worth 10,000 yuan. Huamin only felt that it was delicious. It tasted sweet and refreshing, and the cup was small, so he drank a few cups in one go. Especially since the tea was warm, it was just right for her physical condition today. Listening to classical music, the two of them were so carefree. Huamin hoped that he would remember this moment forever. Qin Chu seemed to only relax his brows when he was alone with her, revealing a rare gentleness. She was glad that he liked her, even though he was so nice. After drinking the pot of tea, the two of them clearly felt full. When Qin Chu said that he was going to swim, Huamin was extremely excited. However, when he arrived, he found out that Qin Chu was going to swim alone. He only left Huamin in the resting area to sit and watch how he swam. There were actually quite a few swimming pools, but Qin Chu was using the VIP pool, which was a place where only VIP members would come. So, there were only 5 or 6 people swimming in the entire pool. Qin Chu was afraid that Huamin would be cold, so he asked for 2 thick bath towels. He put one on Huamin and put the other on the side. Then, he watched as Qin Chu took off the white bathrobe he was wearing outside, revealing his proud Apollo's belt. Huamin blushed instantly. Then, he looked a little embarrassed, but he couldn't help but want to peek. That feeling was extremely complicated. After all, this was the first time he saw Qin Chu naked. Chapter 47-49. Qin Chu did not notice Huamin's shy gaze behind him. He jumped into the water and started swimming. His movements and posture were extremely standard. It was obvious that he had received professional guidance. Huamin rested her chin on her hand and looked at the water. She thought dejectedly, if she really married Qin Chu in the future, would she be out of place? He knew how to swim, play basketball, climb mountains, play golf, taste red wine, understand the differences, and learn 4 languages. She only knew how to eat potato powder and sleep. She didn't even know how to play billiards, which was taught by Ling Ling. Most importantly, she didn't know how to cook. If they really lived together, It would be very strange, right? She suddenly thought of the popular movie Meteor Garden. The male lead in the movie fell in love with Cinderella. That was probably just a TV drama. Moreover, they had gone through many twists and turns. The male lead's mother was firmly against them being together. She even introduced the male lead to a rich young lady from a prestigious family. Life was not a TV drama. For a proud son of heaven like Qin Shu, his future path was very obvious. He would go abroad, study abroad, and then come back to take over the family business. Finally, he would marry a lady of equal status and have children. As for their inexperienced love, it couldn't even be called love. It could only be called the ignorant love of adolescence. In the end, when he was successful and had everything in his hands, he would be the one who had the most power. If the media interviewed him, he would probably say casually, "I was still young then. My first love didn't understand love at all." Perhaps it was because the hole in her brain was too big, but when Huamin thought of these, her heart actually ached. These were the future she had envisioned for Qin Shu, but it was also the path that Qin Shu would take. Thinking of this, she felt a little sad. She lowered her head and went into a daze. So she didn't even notice Qin Shu coming ashore. All of a sudden, Qin Shu sat down beside her and deliberately made big movements, splashing water all over her. Huamin came back to her senses. "Do you want to fight?" Qin Shu raised the corner of his mouth. "What are you thinking about?" "Nothing." "Liar. There's clearly a story in your eyes." "No, you're mistaken. There's only an accident in my eyes," Huamin said jokingly. Seeing that Huamin wasn't telling the truth, Qin Shu didn't ask. "Let's go watch a movie. There's a cinema here?" Huamin was surprised. "Of course, there's also a gym." "Rich indeed," Huamin exclaimed. Qin Shu didn't say what movie it was, so Huamin followed him in a daze. Later, she swore that this was the most regretful thing she had ever done. She thought that Qin Shu was a different kind of boyfriend, but who knew that he was also such a scammer? When they entered the cinema, they found that there were quite a lot of people. Therefore, she thought that it was some European and American blockbuster. But as soon as the opening music started, she knew she was in trouble. This was a fucking horror movie. The opening was very scary, and it was a Thai horror film. It was said that Western horror films were very violent and bloody, while Japanese and Korean horror films were very scary. In Thailand, you would definitely be scared to the point of screaming and having a mental breakdown. Huamin still remembered that the movie they watched was called Possessed by a Ghost. The atmosphere of the Thai horror film and the actors' looks were unforgettable. After the opening scene, Huamin was scared after seeing the first scene. "Qin Shu, don't you know that girls can't be scared when they're on their period? That's why you have to lie in my arms the entire time," Qin Shu said shamelessly. "But I can still hear the music. It's so scary. I can cover your ears for free. So, you're digging a hole for me to jump into, right? If you don't like it, we can go out now, but it's so dark in here. If we go out, what if we see something dirty?" Before Qin Shu could say anything, Huamin was scared. "Shut up, you bastard. Help me cover my ears." Then, Huamin fell into Qin Shu's arms in almost 3 seconds. Qin Shu smiled gently and reached out his warm hand to cover her ears. Chapter 4750. Huamin was so nervous that she didn't even care what Qin Shu smelled like. Instead, she jumped into Qin Shu's arms like an ostrich. Qin Shu looked at Huamian, who was on the verge of breaking down, and smiled gently. His plan worked. In fact, he just wanted to hug his girl. After all, once they returned to school, he had to keep a distance from Huamin. He wanted to be close to Huamin and wasn't afraid of rumors, but Huamin couldn't. He didn't want the girl he liked to get hurt. He thought he could hug Huamin quietly for a while, but Zhu Lingling called at this time. "Huh, I think my phone is ringing." After speaking, Huamin didn't care about being scared anymore. He quickly got up and took out his phone. Then, he covered his ears and slowly walked out. After all, the sound was too loud. Qin Shu gritted his teeth and followed Huamin. All his efforts were wasted. He had to tell Gao Ran to insult Zhu Lingling a few more times. "Mian, what are you doing?" Huamin felt a little guilty. He turned around and looked at Qin Shu. "I'm at home. What are you doing at home? Zhu Lingling didn't feel anything. Reading novels or something. Huh, you're reading those romance novels again. They're so melodramatic. You're such a smart person. How did you get hooked on them? But the novels written by Pig Baby are really good. I'm reading her latest book. I really like the characters in it. Oh, right. You should be camping right now, right? You didn't go out with them. Why did you call me? Huamin changed the topic. It's because that bitch Lu Xiying canceled a lot of activities when she saw that Qinshu didn't come. The whole roasted lamb that was promised was also gone. I heard that there was going to be a bonfire party. Now everyone is playing on their own. Everyone is given a hamburger and a bottle of Coke. It's so disgusting. This woman doesn't want to take everyone to play. She clearly wants to chase Qinshu, but failed. If I were Qinshu, I wouldn't want her. She looks like a carp spirit. No one in second middle school could compare to Zhu Lingling in terms of sharp-tongued words. She was truly a fierce general. Humin didn't laugh with her. Although she also hated Lu Xiying, people were like this. For example, although you are very good, there are people who don't like you and don't like you. After all, the human heart was the most complicated thing. No one could make everyone like it. Therefore, Humin just smiled and said, "All right, my dear lady. Have fun. Be careful. It's windy at night. Cover yourself with more blankets." After chatting with Zhu Lingling for a while, she hung up the phone. Only then did she remember that she had run out of a horror film. When she turned around, she saw Qinshu staring at her. Humin laughed and said, "Wicked or not, take me to watch a horror film? I thought you liked it." Qinshu boasted shamelessly. "Like your head. You scared me to death." If you take me to watch a horror film in the future, I'll climb on your window at night. You're welcome to climb, but my house is very high. You have to be careful. Do you need me to get you a wire? Qinshu laughed. "Are you trying to anger me to death? How is that possible? If I anger you to death, who would want to be my girlfriend?" Qinshu said very naturally, but Humin blushed again. "Don't talk nonsense. Do you know that puppy love is a sin?" "What sin?" Qinshu asked. "It's a sin for young boys and girls to think too much and not study hard," Humin said righteously. Qinshu laughed and said, "You're the one who decided the sin?" Just then, a male waiter rushed over in a panic. "Young master, the chairman is here." Qinshu's expression changed slightly. Chapter 4751. When they heard that Qinshu's father was here, Qinshu's expression changed slightly. Humin also lost her composure. They were still high school students. How could they know how awkward it would be to meet parents? Before Qinshu could say anything, Humin panicked. "Qinshu, I'll hide first." Qinshu glanced at her. "It's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. Why hide? Go sit in the cafe. I'll ask someone to prepare dessert for you. You rest first. I'll go meet my father." Then, Qinshu asked someone to send Humin to the cafe before he went to the meeting room. When Qinshu's father arrived, he went straight to the meeting room and talked to a few of the hotel's executives about the hotel's renovation. When Qinshu arrived, he was still in the middle of the meeting. Qinshu knocked on the door. "Dad." Qinshu's father looked at his son calmly. "Come in, you can listen in." After Qinshu entered, he also participated in the meeting and listened attentively. An hour later, the father and son walked out of the meeting room. "Does your mother know that you're here on Yunding Mountain?" Qinshu's father asked his son. Qinshu shook his head. "I heard that you brought a classmate here." Qinshu's father continued to ask. Qinshu was silent for a few seconds before he decided to tell the truth. "Dad, that girl is my girlfriend." Qinshu's father was not surprised when he heard this. It was normal for teenagers to have feelings for each other overseas. After all, everyone was young once. Then she must be very outstanding. Qinshu's father did not expect this to be the first sentence he said. Come to think of it, he knew very well what his son was like. The girl he liked must have something outstanding about her. "Yes, she's very outstanding." Qinshu nodded. He agreed. "I thought that you would like a girl like Ishur." Song Ishur was indeed good-looking, and their families were quite close. However, Qinshu did not seem to have any feelings for her, but did not contact her. Song Yisher is outstanding in the eyes of adults, but she is outstanding in my eyes. It's normal for you to have such thoughts at your age, but don't go overboard. You're still a student. Don't affect her negatively. Dad, why would I? Chin Chu raised his head and looked at his father. I won't tell your mother about this. You know her temper. She'll be anxious. Chin Chu nodded and then thought of something. He asked his father, Dad, do you want to meet her? This time, Chin Chu's father was shocked. Chu, do you think this is appropriate? Chin Chu's father looked at his son, had a complicated expression. Everyone knew that relationships in school rarely blossomed. So Chin Chu's father thought that his son was just experiencing the first awakening of love and would go abroad or go to college in a few years. Maybe he would find someone else. Boys were fickle in love. Instead, as he grew older and the environment changed, he would be attracted by the new things around him. Many things would be replaced, including his standards of liking girls. However, Chin Chu wanted him to meet that girl. What did this mean? This meant that the girl was very important to Chin Chu. She was definitely not his first love. Chu, do you have any plans? Chin Chu's father asked as he looked at his son's calm eyes. After 5 seconds of silence, Chin Chu said faintly, Dad, she's the one I want for life. I'll marry her in the future. After I graduate from high school, I'll bring her to America to study. We'll get married when we come back. If it was someone else, Chin Chu's father would think that his son was too naive. However, he was shocked because he knew his son too well. He knew that his son was serious. He also knew how stubborn he was when it came to the things he liked. Chapter 4752. Chu, are you serious? Mr. Chin asked again. I am. Chin Chu didn't even need to think before he told his father in a firm tone. Then I'd really like to meet this girl. Mr. Chin was very curious at this moment. What kind of girl could make such an outstanding son fall head over heels in love with her? He was even thinking about the future now. After all, Mr. Chin had met the girl in middle school, the one from the Liu family, twice. She was quite pretty. However, Chin Chu didn't even like to talk. Song Yisher was a very outstanding girl with a first-class family background. However, every time they met when they were young, Chin Chu seemed to want to stay as far away from her as possible. Now that he suddenly told him that he was going to study abroad with the girl he liked and get married, Mr. Chin was very shocked. Chin Chu was wondering if he should let his father meet Hua Mian. With Hua Mian's personality, perhaps his father would like her. As long as his father agreed, it would be much easier to deal with his mother. Just then, Mr. Chin's phone suddenly rang. After picking up the phone, Mr. Chin smiled. I wanted to meet you, but there's something urgent to deal with at the company. I'm going back to Sea City now. Do you want to come back with me? No. Chin Chu refused without hesitation. He didn't want to take his father's ride back. He wanted to go back alone with Hua Mian. Besides, he planned to leave tomorrow. He didn't want to waste a day alone with Hua Mian. Hearing his son's words, Mr. Chin smiled and turned around. Chin Chu's father's attitude wasn't very clear, but he knew in his heart. He believed that he had the ability to convince his parents. No matter how long it took, no matter how difficult it was, they would definitely accept Hua Mian, because she was the one for him in this life. In the cafe, Hua Mian only ordered a cup of mocha. Then, he watched a beautiful woman play an elegant piano piece and spaced out for a while. When Chin Chu came in, she didn't even notice. It wasn't until Chin Chu flicked her head that she reacted. What are you thinking about? You're back. Hua Mian turned around and looked at Chin Chu with a hint of nervousness. Yes. You saw your father? Yes. Did he blame you? Hua Mian asked nervously. Chin Chu laughed. Why would he blame me? Hua Mian felt a little guilty. He lowered his head and sipped his coffee as he muttered. After all, you brought an uninvited guest here. Plus, I've been living here for the past few days, eating, hiking, and buying clothes. Your father must have thought that I'm a femme fatale. You're thinking too much. My dad doesn't care about this money at all. You probably don't know that this amount of money is nothing to him. Of course, I'm not trying to show off how rich my family is. I just want to say that people in my dad's position don't care about this amount of money at all. My family's company accounts for tens of millions of yuan every year. What does this amount to? What's more, it's your own son who spent it. Perhaps because he was afraid that Huamin would feel uncomfortable, Qin Chu explained so much at once. Wow, I'm so surprised. Surprised? Qin Chu didn't understand her. He thought that she was surprised by his family's financial situation. However, Huamin continued to laugh. We've known each other for so long, but this is the first time you've said so much to me. Did you say 500 words just now? Qin Chu, that you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.